Chapter 1965. Fight in Suppression. Chapter 1965. Fight in Suppression. Feng Kong Grand Emperor had been an immortal emperor for countless years. His immortal essence was extremely dense. He immediately used his immortal essence and spirit sense, wanting to empower the shield. But before he could do that, an invisible and shapeless void crevice appeared in his sea of consciousness. Not good, this was spirit sense Goddard. How could Feng Kong Grand Emperor not know the power of spirit sense Goddard? He didn't understand how Yi Mo had such a powerful spirit sense Goddard. This was on par, or even stronger than Wushuang, Immortal Emperor. But when he realized this, it was too late. Yi Mo's blade struck Feng Kong Grand Emperor's sea of consciousness. Feng Kong Grand Emperor felt his sea of consciousness was blasted by lightning, and this extreme pain came. A 10 km longsword ray suddenly appeared in his sea of consciousness. Its force was grand and almost hacked his sea of consciousness in two halves. Feng Kong Grand Emperor didn't dare to take things easy at all. His spirit sense immediately formed a powerful spirit sense wall, wanting to block this blade. However, this was Yi Mo's spirit sense god art that suddenly attacked. It was too hard to block it with just his spirit sense wall. In just an instant, his spirit sense wall cracked. At the same time, his sea of consciousness started to cripple. Feng Kong Grand Emperor immediately spat blood. He ate a green fruit without hesitation. After that, his sea of consciousness immediately started to repair. Although it was still under Yi Mo's crevice god art bombardment, it wasn't as bad as before. With Feng Kong Grand Emperor's sea of consciousness ambushed, the Qian Yuan Divine Shield couldn't stop Yi Mo's 5 Lightning Spear Destruction without Feng Kong Grand Emperor's empowerment. 5 Lightning Spear Destruction blasted it away and pierced Feng Kong Grand Emperor's body, bringing out 5 blood arrows. Feng Kong Grand Emperor was smashed away into his cultivation home door. If it wasn't the Qian Yuan Divine Shield, Feng Kong Grand Emperor would be dismembered by this 5 Lightning Spear Destruction. Feng Kong Grand Emperor wasn't the Feng Kong Grand Emperor who wore emperor robes with emperor crest before. His hair was messy and his face pale. His armor had turned to pieces. The blood holes on his body had recovered, but he was still covered in blood. If he didn't have a god Jade Chan fruit, his sea of consciousness would have been crippled by Yi Mo's attack. Feng Kong Grand Emperor's hand, holding the soul-robbing blue cloud brush, was shaky. If his sea of consciousness wasn't ambushed by Yi Mo, he might even have the upper hand now. He could use 3 words of the primordial chaos 6 words Goddard. When his earth words smashed out, Yi Mo definitely wouldn't be able to stop it. Because sea of consciousness was ambushed, he was heavily injured before he could use the abstruse. Although he would definitely not allow Yi Mo's spirit sense god art to smash into his sea of consciousness again, but he already suffered from that now. He tried to estimate highly of Yi Mo, but didn't expect Yi Mo had power on par to his. Now that his sea of consciousness was heavily injured, he was probably no match for Yi Mo. He didn't want to fight this battle anymore. But this wasn't up to him. From the looks of it, Yi Mo wasn't much better than Feng Kong Grand Emperor. After the yellow word was empowered by the abstruse word, Yi Mo's body had been ravaged. A few fine lethal rays pierced his body, and he still hasn't recovered the injuries yet. Yi Mo was a mortal god body, tertiary stage body, so his recovery powers were much more powerful. His ability to take damage was much stronger than ordinary cultivators. Yi Mo didn't have any immortal armor, but he sustained much lighter injuries than Feng Kong Grand Emperor. When he flew out from Feng Kong Grand Emperor's killing intent ravine, Zisu hacked out again. This time, it wasn't Spirit Sense Crevice but the real Crevice Goddard. Yi Mo knew clearly that for someone like Feng Kong Grand Emperor, the Spirit Sense God art can only be used for ambush. If he attacked with it again and again, it would have any effect. Stop! Feng Kong Grand Emperor saw that Yi Mo didn't care and was about to fight. He quickly yelled. Yi Mo wasn't going to care. He would fight when he wanted to and stop when he wanted to. Who did Feng Kong think he was? His Zisu sliced out 100 kilometers purple ray and covered half of Feng Kong Grand Emperor estate. When this crevice struck out, the nearby 1,000 km of lethal force was drawn by this blade. The space lethal force was pressurized and instantly became fierce. There was a sliver of murderous chi and lightning rumbling. Ever since EMO came back from Qingwei Abyssal River, his lethal force formed a unique system. Now that he reached Immortal Emperor and fused Dunyang Black Wine's killing intent, his god art's lethal force was even more sharp. The killing intent and lethal force in this strike was heavenly. The lightning also went from thin to thick as the blade fell. The lethal force spread. Even though Yemo retained some not wanting to damage Qingwei Heaven, but some stronger people in Qingwei Heaven already felt it much less Hongyu Immortal City. Countless immortals flew over to watch this terrifying Immortal Emperor battle. Zisu's killing intent was becoming more and more murderous and crazy. It completely controlled this space. Feng Kong Grand Emperor's face looked more and more bad. He knew that the force of Yi Mo's strike had risen. If he didn't deal with it, he would be suppressed and beaten. He forcefully released Qian Yuan Divine Shield again. The 30-kilometer shield light instantly covered him. Feng Kong Grand Emperor didn't plan to attack. He was completely on the defense. Yi Mo's God Art Force had completed. Even Wei Feng and Du Feng could tell that a heavily injured Feng Kong Grand Emperor wouldn't be able to defend against this even if he completely went on the defense. Mu Ruiguang on the side was scared watching this. He completely forgot about capturing Tang Beiwei and them first. He knew that Yi Mo was stronger than him, but he didn't expect Yi Mo to be able to suppress Feng Kong Grand Emperor to this degree. At this moment, he couldn't care. He released a huge red bell and smashed towards Yi Mo's heaven-shocking blade. Crack! The purple sword ray carried endless killing intent and hacked down. Mu Ruiguang's red bell was instantly smashed away. Mu Ruiguang flew back, spitting blood like crazy. A crevice appeared on his body. Just one move, and he couldn't fight again. If Yi Mo's main target was him, his body might have even crippled. A heavy thud sounded, and the purple sword ray eased. It smashed on Feng Kong Grand Emperor's shield again, but due to Mu Ruiguang's attack, it wasn't able to hurt Feng Kong Grand Emperor. Yi Mo didn't mind at all that his move didn't succeed. Just as Feng Kong Grand Emperor blocked the move, his immortal essence force rose again. Feng Kong Grand Emperor's face was green. He really didn't want to keep fighting with Yi Mo, but he couldn't stop it. And looking at how crazy Yi Mo was, he clearly didn't want to stop. Wei Feng Grand Emperor saw this and knew that Feng Kong didn't want to keep fighting. He came out and saluted with his fists. Sect leader Yi, everyone is just play fighting. We should stop at the right time. If you guys keep fighting, even our Qingwei Heaven Hongyu Immortal City will be destroyed. If there's only my Hongyu Immortal City, then I don't mind, but there are countless immortals here. If the city is destroyed, it would be a disaster for the people here. Yi Mo sneered. He knew how shameless Wei Feng Immortal Emperor was. There were countless immortals watching here. Even if he controlled his immortal essence and avoided the Immortal City, the countless immortals here would still side with Wei Feng Grand Emperor. This guy was the epitome of shamelessness. If Yi Mo was at the lower hand, Wei Feng would definitely not say a thing. Wei Feng, did you not take the lesson I taught you last time? Don't worry. If I kill you today, not a corner of Hongyu Immortal City will be destroyed. Yi Mo said, and then punched out. The fist force instantly swept the nearby space into an endless space storm that smashed at Wei Feng Grand Emperor with ripples. Fist God Art Void. Wei Feng Grand Emperor's face changed. He didn't think Yi Mo was crazy to this extent. He was battling Feng Kong Grand Emperor and still dared to publicly offend him. But Wei Feng didn't dare to take it lightly at all. He released the 49 stars forming star swirls that clashed with Yi Mo's fist force. The already messy estate ground was plowed again. Immortal essence burst out, squeezing the nearby space, cracking. Feng Kong Grand Emperor had recovered a bit now and released the soul-robbing blue cloud brush again, planning to attack Yi Mo with Wei Feng Grand Emperor. Seeing this, Du Feng quickly came up and persuaded, "You three, please listen to me. Let's stop fighting for now." Feng Kong Grand Emperor didn't want to keep fighting with Yi Mo anyways. This wasn't because he was scared of Yi-Mo, but Yi-Mo ambushed his sea of consciousness, and he couldn't fully release his primordial chaos 6 words God art. Otherwise, Yi-Mo would be the one suppressed in the battle. Now that Du Feng intervened, he didn't keep fighting and just looked at Yi-Mo with a sunken face. Wei Feng Grand Emperor clashed one move with Yi-Mo, and his heart sunk. He knew this was Yi-Mo's most ordinary god art. Compared to when he fought Yi-Mo before, Yi-Mo's cultivation level had risen by more than multiple times. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. As someone trying to break up the fight, of course he didn't want to keep fighting Yi-Mo. He already stopped. As someone trying to break up the fight, of course he didn't want to keep fighting Yi-Mo. He already stopped. Yi-Mo nodded to Du Feng and didn't keep attacking. He could tell Feng Kong Grand Emperor had recovered a bit. He already couldn't stoop the 2 words. If another word came, it would be much more than getting injured. Luckily, his spirit sense god art injured Feng Kong's sea of consciousness. Feng Kong seemed concerned, but so was Yi-Mo. Feng Kong's sea of consciousness was blasted and was pretty much fine after eating a fruit. He had to be careful. It wasn't any time he could ambush a sea of consciousness, especially Feng Kong's. I entered Feng Kong Grand Emperor estate because I admired Feng Kong Grand Emperor, but Feng Kong is such a bleak character. He tried to use a pathetic excuse to subjugate me with his cultivation home artifact. If Feng Kong doesn't give me a clear resolution, I'm not going to take this, Yi-Mo said loudly. Although Yi-Mo looked tattered, everyone could tell that Feng Kong Grand Emperor was no match for Yi-Mo. Perhaps only Feng Kong and Yi-Mo knew themselves that neither of them could surely win the other. Yi-Mo then waved his hand, and Na Ming, immortal monarch, who was amongst the crowd, was thrown onto the ground in front of Yi-Mo. The Tao partner of a pig, like you deserves for me to rape? Yi-Mo raised Zisu, and before Feng Kong Grand Emperor could stop, a purple rainbow sliced across, and Na Ming, immortal monarch, was turned to bloody mist. Feng Kong Grand Emperor's face was so bleak water could rip out. He was this cocky, publicly smashing his Grand Emperor estate and killing his manager. He wanted to go up and tear Yi-Mo to pieces, but his sea of consciousness hasn't completely recovered. He wanted to resist this again, but if he did, he would never have any face again. If Wei Feng Grand Emperor truly wanted to help him, he would really want to fight with his life, but he knew that Wei Feng Grand Emperor only helped him superficially. If they really fought, Wei Feng would definitely conserve his own strength and might even bite him back. Although he had a few immortal emperors, they were nothing to Yi-Mo. Even immortal emperor tertiary stage Mu Ruiguang was smashed to heavy injury in one move, much less other immortal emperor primary stages. The onlooking immortals saw that Yi-Mo dared to kill Feng Kong Grand Emperor Estate's manager, Na Ming, immortal monarch, and all stared at Yi-Mo with their mouth wide open. Those who didn't know Yi-Mo quickly asked around who Yi-Mo was. Feng Kong Grand Emperor still wasn't able to attack and was stopped by Du Feng. Du Feng only stopped casually. As an immortal emperor peak stage, he could tell that if Feng Kong and Wei Feng joined up, Yi-Mo might not be a match. What he didn't expect was that he received that much face. That casual stop prevented Feng Kong Grand Emperor from attacking again. A seductive voice sounded, breaking the tense atmosphere. At the same time, a pink-robed, extremely beautiful immortal landed before Yi-Mo. Big brother, am I that ugly? Not even deserving of you to rape. This red-robed woman appeared, saying things that confused people. Yi-Mo stared at this red-robed immortal calmly and asked, "Who are you?" Yi-Mo didn't take a mere immortal emperor primary stage seriously. He felt strange about her apparel. She wore a pink immortal dress, but dragged the clothes down to show half her chest. She wore nothing on her foot. Her foot was small and white. I'm the Tao partner of the Na Ming you killed. Oh, that's a long time ago. I came past Hongyu Immortal City today and heard that you weren't interested in raping me, so I felt disappointed. The red-robed immortal emperor looked down as though she was truly disappointed. Yemo couldn't be bothered talking anymore as his killing intent swept out. After the battle with Feng Kong Grand Emperor, his knowledge of lethal force grew again. Red-robed Immortal Emperor immediately sensed Yemo's killing intent. Her face changed immediately. She knew that although Yemo looked like an Immortal Emperor primary stage like her, 10 of her might not be a match for him. Big brother, I have no ill will. You helped me kill Nam Ming, that bastard. I'm very grateful. If this guy didn't rely on someone to back him up, I would have killed him already. And after I left this bastard, he never had a Dao partner, so I know he's framing you, she said. Yemo was confused. She clearly came to speak for him. Where did she come from? She didn't even fear Feng Kong Grand Emperor? Her words would offend Feng Kong Grand Emperor. I'm Tong Ranran, Tidal Way High. I'm from Nanyu Immortal City Xiang Spirit Chi Palace. If Big Brother comes to my Xiang Spirit Chi Palace, I will greet you with barefoot. Tong Ran seemed to know that Yemo was going to keep fighting Feng Kong Grand Emperor and quickly moved to the side. She was barefoot already. Yemo didn't care what she said again. Sect Leader Yi, this thing is clearly Manager Nam Ming causing trouble. Now that he's killed by you, I believe Sect Leader Yi is reasonable. Everyone take a step back, and I think we can end this here. Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor, tried to be the good guy. Yemo was extremely furious that Feng Kong tried to kill Tang Beiwei and them at the start, but he knew that Feng Kong Grand Emperor's Sea of Consciousness has pretty much recovered now, but his body hasn't recovered yet. This was Feng Kong's land. It wasn't good to keep fighting. With Feng Kong's dominance, if he asked Feng Kong to compensate, they would fight again. Plus, he earned from this. He smashed Feng Kong's cultivation home sign, injured his Sea of Consciousness, and even took a Bing Feng flower. The golden bow of immortal extermination was Yemo's trump card. He wasn't going to use it unless at a life and death situation. Most people knew Yemo had 1 arrow, but little did people know he had 3. On Du Feng's account, I'll let you again. Feng Kong, next time you offend me, I will kill you for certain. Feng Kong wanted face, but Yemo wasn't going to give it to him. Feng Kong Grand Emperor calmed down and sneered, "Bastard, you only know how to ambush. The Emperor also will warn you, don't fall in my hands again." Yemo ignored Feng Kong Grand Emperor and said to Du Feng, "Brother Du Feng, I'm going back. If you have time, come drink at my MOU Immortal Sect." "Ah, Big Monk will definitely go." Du Feng laughed. Tong Ranran saw things here were over and quickly said, "Brother Yi, would you be able to show up at my Xiang Spirit Chi Palace? Our palace lord admires Brother Yi greatly." Yemo didn't know what place that was, but just looking at Tong Ranran, he didn't want to have any connections with that place. "Thank your palace lord. I'm busy right now, so I won't go today. We'll talk about it later." "Okay." Then Ranran and Palace Lord will wait for Brother Ye's grand arrival. Tong Ranran laughed again and bowed. Seeing Yemo and them leave on the space-time boat, the nearby immortals were all shocked with their jaws dropping. This sect leader Yi was more than just amazing. An Immortal Emperor primary stage smashed Feng Kong Grand Emperor's estate and killed Nam Ming, Immortal Monarch, in front of Feng Kong Grand Emperor, but Feng Kong Grand Emperor could only watch him leave. What shocked them more was that Xiang Spirit Chi Palace invited Yemo, but Yemo rejected them. Yemo and them took the teleportation formation from Qing Wei Heaven and left immediately. "Martial Sister Yu, do you know what Xiang Spirit Chi Palace is?" When they came to Changrong Heaven, Yemo asked Eugene Xiang. Eugene Xiang nodded. "I know. It's a very mysterious sect that's just below the Ice God Palace. I heard the palace only has 1 immortal emperor, and that's the Palace Lord. I've never heard the Palace Lord change, and the Palace Lord is extremely powerful. However, no sect in the immortal realm can invite her." Yemo immediately said, "They definitely have more than 1 immortal emperor. That Tong Ranran is an immortal emperor. Keep talking." Eugene Xiang said, "They have male and female sect members. The people inside are strange. The female sect members inside are very sexual. If they like a male there, they can even have sex on the streets. If the male sect members are interested in one woman, they would chase them to the ends of the world. For someone they didn't, they would rather suicide than comply. Such a psychotic sect. Tang Beiwei said in contempt. Hearing this, Yimo didn't want to have any connections with them and said to Shadowless, control the ship to fly to Long Yu Immortal Mountain. Yimo came to Changrong Heaven wanting to see if Li Kuan was back. If not, he would head to the Middle Heaven Domain from here, and then to the Low Heaven Domain. A day later, Yimo was hospitably received by Long Yu Immortal Mountain, but Li Kuan was back. Yimo could only leave. He called that Ling Xiao into a room. Everyone knew that Yimo had important business with her. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1967. Mo Yoshin's Death. Chapter 1967. Mo Yoshin's Death. South Peace State Pill City. This was previously the #1 city of Luo Yu continent, and the only 10-star city, but now it was far from its former glory. It was barely a pill city now. All the high-level pill kings had pretty much left. Only some low-level pill masters stay here to survive. Before, one could smell pill aroma 100 km from the pill city, but now, even if you enter the pill city, you can only barely feel its former glory. At this moment, an extremely beautiful woman carried a long sword on her back and walked towards the pill city. She stood outside the city and looked at the rusty words Pill City for a long time before murmuring, "Did Dad become famous here? Is the 12 Pill King stairs still here?" Then she slowly walked in the city. This was Yimo's daughter Yimo. Ever since getting the Immortal Carnage Tower, her cultivation speed was just below Su Jingwen. She was even faster than Luo Ying. After Su Jingwen ascended to the Immortal Realm, she reached Truth Realization State peak stage in a few decades. However, she had passed her divine damnation and still couldn't ascend. Yimo was very desperate. Although there was her mum and a few Andes in the MOU city and more familiar people, she thought that her dad must be lonely in the Immortal Realm. Plus, who knows if Auntie Jingwen could find Dad. Auntie Jingwen's cultivation speed is much faster than hers, but in terms of fighting, Auntie Jingwen was far from a match for her. Almost everyone in Moyu City was working hard on cultivation, but only Yimo left Moyu City alone to travel the entire Luo Yu continent. In this 100 years, she had been through the 4 big states and even the Heartless Sea many times. Her 12 lightning orbs were invincible, and even her Infinity 7-star umbrella was rarely matched. Even without her cultivation level, she just had to say Yimo's name, and she would be respected in the 4 states. Yimo didn't want to always be under the protection of Yimo. She had always relied on herself, but as time went on, even when she didn't say Yimo's name, most people knew she was Yimo's only daughter. Because she knew about the Yinhai domain from Guangwei, she even went there but didn't find anyone in Yinhai City. Even so, she still stayed there a few years to spirit control the small world and throw out all the random buildings inside. She completely reorganized this small world. The reason she could do this so quickly was mainly due to Yimo's spirit sense cultivation method. What disappointed her was that she had searched for 100 years and still couldn't find why Luo Yu continent couldn't have immortal ascension. This time, she went from West Extreme State back to South Peace State and looked at this barren pill city. Yimo went to Yimo, where Yimo won. There were only a few Foundation Establishment State and Golden Core State cultivators dealing. It was mostly Qi gathering cultivators. Yimo exclaimed. She had almost fanaticized that one day she ascended to the Immortal Realm and gathered with Dad, Mum, and other aunties. Yimo sighed and didn't want to stay here. She planned to go back to MOU City. She felt disappointed that compared to Dad, she was almost that bit off. Luo Yu continent cultivators couldn't immortal ascend before, but Dad went to West Extreme State and broke the immortal formation from the Sand River. Because of this, the Luo Yu continent cultivators always has this fear and respect towards MOU City. Now that Luo Yu cultivators were stuck in this curse of unable to ascend again. Just when Yimo turned and was about to leave the Pill City, her spirit sense scanned a gray-robed cultivator taking a man and woman into the Spirit Rest Tower. Seeing that gray-robed cultivator, Yimo felt strange. When she looked carefully, she saw that this person looked similar to Dad. Yimo immediately covered her face and followed them into the tower. This person was only hollow spirit state tertiary stage, but the other two was disaster transformation state peak stage and truth realization state level 4. Yimo's spirit sense was many levels more powerful than ordinary cultivators due to Yimo's spirit sense cultivation method and pills. She chose a room next to them, and her spirit sense pierced the room. Martial brother Mo, Han Qianbei, is face repairing holy hand. No one is better than Han Qianbei on this in Luoyu continent. We'll repair the face at Pill City and then use an opportunity to get to MOU City and appear heavily injured and get found. The disaster transformation state female cultivator said. That martial brother Mo quickly got up and said, "Thank you, Qianbei, but Yimo's women knows him very well. I might be easily spotted out." At the Pill City, Ning Qingxue suspected I was Mo on first glance, but she immediately recognized I wasn't. However, Yimo's daughter is rather easier to trick. This was Mo Yushin, who had enmity with Mo. He had constantly wanted to get revenge from Mo, but his talent really wasn't good. Even now, he was only hollow spirit state tertiary stage. Truth realization state level 4. Han Qianbei sneered, "If it wasn't your master asking me for help, how can I help you? With my powers. Even if you don't look like Mo at all, I can change you into him, much less you resemble him." That's right. Master said Han Qianbei definitely has the power to help martial brother accomplish his goal. Martial brother Mo, don't doubt Mo Qianbei. The disaster transformation state woman nodded and said, "Yes, Wanbei is wrong. Qianbei, please forgive me. Because Wanbei's cultivation progress is slow. If this continues, Wanbei would never be able to ascend to the immortal realm. Even if one day I can, Yimo's women would have ascended already. How can I get my revenge?" Mo Yushin got up and said. Han Qianbei sneered, "If it's just changing your face into Yimo's, how can it show my abilities? I can even change your chi into Yimo's. You just have to find some people who have come in contact to describe to me. If those mere women can see through my mean's eye, Han Zhouping wouldn't be called Ghost Frost Holy Hand." Yimo heard this and was furious. That person looking like her dad was trying to change into her dad and trick people at MOU City. How could she tolerate this? If his chi was really changed into dad's, and then he was heavily injured and couldn't speak nor show his cultivation level, then mother and Andy's might really fall for it. I've already researched. Mo didn't have any immortal ascension, divine damnation. He suddenly disappeared. He's either dead or snuck into the immortal realm. Mo Yushin said happily, "Martial brother, Master said your mind state isn't stable. If you don't get revenge personally, you will be stuck like this for the rest of your life. Master used a lot of effort to help you. After you get revenge, you must go back and cultivate." The female cultivator said, "Martial sister Dan, I understand. I won't betray Master in your hope." Mo Yushin didn't finish, and their room was kicked open. A veiled woman with an extremely good-looking body appeared. "Who are you? Why did you barge into our room?" Mo Yushin was the weakest, but his temper wasn't small. Yimo took off her mask. "Open your eyes and look. Yimo is my dad. How dare you pretend to be him? You're asking to die." Han Zhouping reached out to grab Yimo with cultivation essence giant hand as soon as Yimo took off her mask, but Yimo was too much stronger than him. She reached out with cultivation essence giant hand, and that Han's cultivation essence giant hand immediately dispersed. Truth realization state peak stage? Han Zhouping was extremely shocked and wanted to leave immediately. That Dan heard this and also wanted to flee. She chose the opposite direction to Han. Mo Yoshin's face was pale. He wanted to run, of course, but before he could leave the room, Yimo's cultivation essence giant hand crushed him into nothing. Not even his essence spirit was left. Yimo had been through a lot roaming Luoyu continent these years. She was decisive in killing. She immediately chased that Han truth realization state cultivator. "Qianbei, this has nothing to do with me." His face-changing capabilities were top-notch, but his cultivation level was too weak. He was subjugated by Yimo before he could even flee Pill City. How could Yimo let such person go? She smashed out her 12 lightning orbs, instantly binding this Han. Han barely released his shield and was smashed to pieces. At this moment, That disaster transformation state female immortal had gotten away already. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1968, Past Life. Chapter 1968, Past Life. You know the reason why I called you here, right? Yemo looked at Ling Xiao and asked heavily. Hearing this, Ling Xiao immediately knelt down on the ground and said, "Yes, young master." Young master? Yemo raised his hand and brought Ling Xiao on her seat. His tone was a bit displeased. "What do you mean by young master?" Ling Xiao's tone calmed down. Her eyes seemed to see something distant instead of the scene before her eyes. After a long while, she answered, "Because you're the young master of Feng Kong, Grand Emperor Estate. You were there since you were young. We called you young master." "Wait," Yemo interrupted her. He definitely didn't believe he was Feng Kong, Grand Emperor's son. With his current instinct, how could he have no feelings if he was Feng Kong, Grand Emperor's son? Plus, even if he was, Ling Xiao definitely wouldn't abandon Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, and follow him. This time, Ling Xiao kept saying, "Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, has 43 children, and you're just one of them. I've never seen snow that big in the immortal realm, but the snowflakes that year made me know that snow can fall 50-meter thick." That year, Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, invited all the big immortal emperors of the immortal realm to hold a mortal fruit party. Sister Ningxi and I went to greet all the immortal emperors. "Sister Ningxi, we haven't had such a serious immortal fruit party in the Grand Emperor Estate for so long. Do you know the reason this time?" An extremely pretty Gong Ling Xiao asked another beautiful maid. This maid was Wen Ningxi. She was older and stayed at the estate for long. She knew things others didn't, so when people didn't know things they liked to ask her. Ningxi whispered, "Ling Xiao, we shouldn't discuss this here. We're welcoming the top immortal emperors of the immortal realm. Don't talk." Before she finished, she saw a dashing light landing before Grand Emperor Estate in a rush. This was a white-robed woman, but her white dress was covered in blood. When she landed, she immediately laid on the snow, not moving at all. Clearly, she was heavily injured. Ningxi went up immediately and helped this woman up. When the rest of the people saw this woman, they were dumbfounded. They had never seen such a beautiful woman. Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, had plenty of beautiful concubines, but never one as good as this. Her eyes were tightly shut and her face pale. If she wasn't heavily injured, she might be even prettier. Such a beautiful female immortal. Those maids were shocked. Ningxi suddenly reacted and carried this injured female immortal and said, "You guys go greet the immortal emperors. I'll take this sister in to treat her." Yemo interrupted Ling Xiao. "Ling Xiao, what does this have to do with me?" Ling Xiao shook and woke up from her memories. She said respectfully, the white-robed female immortal was heavily injured, but it wasn't lethal. After 2 months' recovery, she could gradually walk. But one day, Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, walked past our maid residence and saw that female immortal. The first time he saw her, he couldn't move his feet again. Yemo frowned. He didn't feel very comfortable. Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, was immediately going to take her. Sister Ningxi couldn't object the will of Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, of course, and could only watch her getting taken away. Luckily, Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, suddenly turned back and pointed at Ningxi to go serve this female immortal and be her maid. Ling Xiao said Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, wanted that female immortal to be his concubine, but that female immortal was pregnant. She insisted on giving birth to the child before marrying Feng Kong, Grand Emperor. Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, agreed, and 4 months later, that female immortal gave birth to a boy. Yemo once again had this extremely suffocating feeling. He subtly felt that he was related to that boy. Ling Xiao looked at Yemo and said slowly, "Young master, that boy is you. Ever since you were born, you didn't have a name. Sister Ningxi called you Yuer. Although you weren't Feng Kong, Grand Emperor's son, people outside didn't know. They called you young master." Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, said nothing about it. Yemo suddenly got up. What he saw in the Tao-seeking tower was indeed his past life. You know that person is you? Yimo looked at Ling Xiao and asked hoarsely. Ling Xiao said respectfully, if the youth who was kicked off the stairs by Feng Kong Grand Emperor is you, then you're him. Seeing Yimo in silence, Ling Xiao sighed. After you were born, your mother kept using you as an excuse to delay the wedding. For the first time, Feng Kong Grand Emperor had the forbearance. He waited 16 years. But ever since you were born, your cultivation speed was very slow because you had 8-element mixed spirit root. Your mother asked Feng Kong Grand Emperor for large amounts of treasure to change spirit root. However, your spirit root couldn't be cleansed nor improved. Was it this reason that Feng Kong Grand Emperor kicked me off? Yimo asked. Ling Xiao shook her head. No. Once your mother realized your talent couldn't be changed, she was extremely disappointed too. More than once had she looked at you and sighed, shaking her head. When Feng Kong Grand Emperor asked to marry your mother, she left the Feng Kong Grand Emperor estate alone. Yimo's heart sunk. His mother left and abandoned him in the Forbidden Grounds estate. Ling Xiao said, after knowing this, Feng Kong Grand Emperor was furious. You were the young master of the estate, so he couldn't kill you. Luckily, Sister Ningxi treated you as her own child and took care of you, allowing to live. One day, you stood on a flower a princess liked. That princess cried. In his fury, Feng Kong Grand Emperor didn't keep tolerating you even though Ningxi begged. He kicked you and Sister Ningxi off the stairs and made people throw you into the cultivation realm for rebirth. I didn't dare to beg, nor did I dare to look. Yimo sighed. Luckily, Feng Kong Grand Emperor let me live and didn't turn me to dust. Ling Xiao shook her head. The reason Feng Kong Grand Emperor threw you into the cultivation realm is because your mother once made Feng Kong Grand Emperor swear an oath that he can't intentionally kill you no matter what nor prevent you from cultivation. That's why you got to live in a cultivation realm. Yimo's heart was cold. His mother didn't take him when she left, but soon Yimo sighed. Maybe his mother couldn't get away at the time too. If she took him, then maybe both of them would die. Perhaps she left to get help. But in reality, Yimo knew that his mother definitely didn't do that, but he didn't want to keep asking. Where is Ningxi Qianbei now? Yimo had endless gratefulness to this maid. Ling Xiao sighed. After you were thrown off, Sister Ningxi came to me and said she would go to that cultivation realm to find you. Because your mother is constantly cultivating, you were brought up by Sister Ningxi. She had feelings for you and was scared you would suffer in the cultivation realm, so she wanted to take care of you. She left the Feng Kong Grand Emperor estate that night, and I've never heard from her since. What's my mother called? Yimo asked. Ling Xiao shook her head. We don't know. She never said her name, nor where she came from. Yimo fell silent. As though feeling Yimo's loss, she took out 2 crystals and gave it to Yimo. Young master, this is your mother and Sister Ningxi. Yimo took them. One crystal ball was of a woman. It was indeed the woman holding him in the Tao-seeking tower. The other woman's face was obscured, but even so, one could see her unparalleled looks. Putting the 2 crystal balls away, Yimo looked at Ling Xiao and said, Ling Xiao Qianbei, don't call me young master anymore. Just call me Yimo. Yimo sighed. I'm Gonghua Heaven Mo, you immortal sect leader. If you don't mind, stay at my Mo, you immortal sect. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1969. Joyful Reunion. Chapter 1969. Joyful Reunion. Ling Xiao sighed. The reason she dared to go against Feng Kong Grand Emperor and follow Yimo was because her lifespan was at its end. When she knew that Yimo was the reincarnation of that youth Sister Ningxi took care of, she immediately decided to tell him about Sister Ningxi. She didn't expect that 8-element mixed spirit root youth whose cultivation speed was extremely slow could now suppress Feng Kong Grand Emperor. This was unimaginable. Of course I'm willing to stay at MOU Immortal Sect. My life is nearing its end. I have nowhere to go. I miss Sister Ningxi very much. If Sister Ningxi knows you have today, She would be very happy. Don't call me Qianbei anymore. Just call me Ani Xiao. Ling Xiao sighed. Ani Xiao, you have endless years of life. How could you be? Yimo saw that Ling Xiao didn't intervene and took out a bottle of pill to her. Ani Xiao, this 5 king pills. I believe no matter how bad your talent is, you can reach to Immortal King. Plus, MOU Immortal Sect Immortal Spirit Chi will be the most famous in the entire 33 heavens. Yimo really wasn't bullshitting. He had this many extreme grade immortal ranges, and he was infinitely near level 9 Immortal Formation Grandmaster. Once he returned to MOU Immortal Sect, he would plant some immortal range underneath the sect and city, and then modify sect protection formation again. 5 special grade king pills? Ling Xiao opened the jade bottle and looked before asking dazedly. The main reason she couldn't break through was because she didn't have cultivation resource nor pills. There was no way a maid like her could be rewarded with a pill. As for escaping the Immortal Emperor estate, it was absurd. If the Immortal Emperor hang out a wanted sign, then she would be caught no matter where she fled to. She saw that Yimo cared a lot about Sister Ningxi, and that's why she didn't dare to say Ningxi might have been killed before she could flee the Grand Emperor estate. She saw the battle between Yimo and Feng Kong Grand Emperor. Although it seemed that Yimo had the upper hand, but she didn't believe Yimo could do anything to Feng Kong Grand Emperor. Only those who always stayed near Feng Kong Grand Emperor would know about his real power. Feng Kong Grand Emperor definitely had top means that he didn't use, but she didn't know that Yimo's most powerful mean wasn't used too. Yes, Ani Xiao. See if these pills are enough for you to reach Immortal King. If not, I still have more. I can definitely let you reach Immortal King. Don't worry. Yimo smiled and asked. Ling Xiao quickly got up and said, it's enough. Definitely enough. I don't need this many. She was ready to die, and thus told Yimo to call her Ani, but now that she knew that she definitely wasn't going to die and was going to reach Immortal King, her mindset changed. Yimo could see this and sighed. Ani Xiao, no matter what, you are Ani Ningxi's friend. In my heart, you're an elder. You can stay at MOU Immortal Sect. I'm certain that Feng Kong Grand Emperor definitely won't dare to come to MOU Immortal Sect. Even if he does, he would kill me first. As long as I don't die, he wouldn't dare to do anything. Ling Xiao took the pills and her face eased. Sect leader, you need to be careful of him. He still has some means that he hasn't used yet. He isn't as simple of a character as he shows. Yimo nodded. He knew that if he didn't use Golden Bow of Immortal Extermination 3 arrows, it was extremely hard to defeat Feng Kong Grand Emperor. That ambush won't work again. Plus, he didn't know if Feng Kong Grand Emperor had other lethal moves. But Yimo believed as time went on, the difference between Feng Kong and him would only grow. He would eventually far surpass Feng Kong, so he wasn't worried at all. There was no rush to kill Feng Kong. Ani Xiao, I need to ask you something. When Feng Kong Grand Emperor went out for 100 years and came back, how many came back with him? Yimo asked. He was certain that He Chong Immortal Emperor didn't come back with Feng Kong Grand Emperor, but he still asked. If Feng Kong Grand Emperor caught He Chong Immortal Emperor, he would definitely use him. When Feng Kong Grand Emperor came back, I was in the garden. I saw him come back with another woman. Ling Xiao answered. Yimo knew that she didn't know much. He took her out and introduced Ling Xiao to the rest of the people. In order to reach Gonghua Heaven quickly, Yimo took over control of space-time boat. With how absurd Yimo's immortal essence and spirit sense were now, the space-time boat went to a new extreme in speed. This time, Yimo didn't stay at Middle Heaven Domain. He just spent a year and crossed to the border of Gonghua Heaven. Gonghua Heaven's largest sect was MOU Immortal Sect, of course. It was the strongest in the entire low heaven domains, and now that there was an Immortal Emperor station there, it was more famous. The Immortal Emperor didn't stay in MOU Immortal Sect, but he stayed at MOU Immortal City, clearly to protect MOU Immortal Sect. At this moment, Su Jingwen and Lu Feng were discussing things at the main peak, MOU Peak. Jingwen, your cultivation level is still too low. It's certain death if you go to the Void Heaven Domain. Lu Feng looked at Su Jingwen worriedly. Su Jingwen said despondently, I know. I found that recently my progress stagnated, and I would always think of Yimo. I'm very worried. I just want to see where Yimo went in, and I would come back to cultivate. Otherwise, I can't cultivate at all. After pausing for a moment, Su Jingwen said, "Of course, I know that if I go alone it would be certain death, but I plan to ask Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor Master, to help me. He's my husband's friend. I believe he would agree." You're worried about Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, leaving MOU Immortal City at any time, and it would be hard to find an Immortal Emperor to help, right? Lu Feng said helplessly. Su Jingwen nodded yes. I mainly want to check how to get there this time. When I come back, I will work hard and cultivate to Immortal Emperor and then go alone. So I still want to ask Sister Lu to come with me. Lu Feng sighed. Of course it's fine. I just don't know if Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor Master, would think much. Su Jingwen got up immediately and said, "In that case, let's go MOU Immortal City and find Ji Lei Qianbei. If Qianbei isn't willing, then we won't go." Before Lu Feng could answer, she saw a jade card fall before Su Jingwen. Su Jingwen crushed it, and the voice of Tsang Meng's joyful voice sounded. "Master's wife, sect leader, is back. He's in MOU Immortal City now?" What? Su Jingwen just hesitated for a moment and couldn't breathe from this huge surprise. The next moment, she charged out of the cultivation home and disappeared. Lu Feng got up in joy and followed behind Su Jingwen. Sect leader Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, had been waiting for Yi Mo to come back in MOU Immortal City. "Brother Ji Lei, how are you in MOU Immortal City?" Yi Mo looked at Ji Lei in confusion. No matter how good MOU Immortal City, it shouldn't be able to attract someone like him. Ji Lei laughed. "You can catch up with me later." Without needing Ji Lei to remind, Yi Mo saw Su Jingwen stumbling over. She was so excited she almost couldn't fly. Seeing her, Yi Mo could no longer resist and grab her into his arms. Yi Mo whimpered. Su Jingwen could no longer talk and fell paralyzed in Yi Mo's arms. The surroundings seemed to be sunken into silence. No one wanted to talk now to disturb Yi Mo's reunion with Su Jingwen. A long while later, Su Jingwen touched Yi Mo's face as though trying to express all her longing after these years. Su Jingwen's familiar body aroma almost made Yi Mo mesmerized in it. When Su Jingwen's soft hands touched his face, he woke up and quickly threw out a few formation flags. The two disappeared from the rest of them. Su Jingwen murmured again, "Yi Mo, is it really you? We're really seeing each other again?" "Jingwen, I'm back. I'll be staying at MOU Immortal Sect from now on. Even if I go out occasionally, I'll be back soon," Yi Mo said. Su Jingwen shook as her body turned on fire. She hugged Yi Mo closer as her soft, wet lips covered Yi Mo's lips. "If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters." Chapter 1970. Powerful MOU. Chapter 1970. Powerful MOU. After some time, Yi Mo and Su Jingwen woke up at the same time. Su Jingwen immediately remembered that there were plenty of people watching. Her face burned, and she snuck into Yi Mo's arms. "We'll go back," and Su Jingwen's voice was very soft. Her heart was still beating fast, but it was calming down. Yi Mo immediately asked Jingwen, "Other than you, who else has come to the Immortal Realm?" "None. Only I have ascended from MOU City. Or only I came here." Su Jingwen's tone was dejected. She was worried just like Yi Mo. There was no way no one from MOU City has ascended up until now. Plus, Lu Wuhu Qian Bei had ascended before her, but why was he nowhere to be seen? Hearing this, Yi Mo's heart sunk. He removed the nearby restriction. "Jingwen, we'll talk about this when we go back." Seeing Yi Mo and Su Jingwen reveal themselves, everyone came up to greet them. Yi Mo looked at Lu Feng and knew she wanted to speak. "Lu Feng, I was the sect leader Luo. Don't worry." Lu Feng realized. No wonder she felt this familiarity on Yi Mo. Brother Yi, Ying, Jiang Jin, Tongzhu all came up and greeted in surprise and joy. Thai finally realized why Yimo treated them differently when the sect first opened. They knew each other. At the same time, they were very shocked. Ying and them had seen Yimo's golden immortal divine damnation before. Lu Zhongyin and Lu Man sighed. They, like Ying and them, knew Yimo's cultivation level before. It had only been a few hundred years, and Yimo's cultivation level was something they didn't dare to imagine. Their cultivation speed had been fast in MOU Immortal Sect, but even now, the strongest of them, Lu Zhongyin, is only abstruse immortal. Yimo saw everyone and was very happy. He greeted them all. Yimo knew from Yin Hui that Ren Fu, Hong Ling, and them had come to MOU Immortal Sect. He was overjoyed. However, they were out for trials. Tang Beiwei had pulled Su Jingwen over to talk. Lu Feng organized Ning Yu and Eugene Xiong and Ling Xiu to settle in. When the people had pretty much finished talking, Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, came up and smiled. 100 years no see. Brother Yi seems more glorious than before. Yimo was now Immortal Emperor primary stage, but Ji Lei didn't feel surprised at all. He thought that Yimo hid his cultivation level. When everyone saw Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, come over to talk, they all moved to the side. In their eyes, Immortal Emperors had utmost high status. How come Brother Ji Lei didn't go into solitary cultivation and came to my MOU Immortal Sect? Yimo smiled. Plus, Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, got the dustless fruit. The first thing he should be doing is solitary cultivation. If Yimo reset the Immortal Spirit Chi gathering formation of MOU Immortal City, it might attract Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, but now was definitely impossible. Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, said with fury, "The dustless fruit I worked so hard to deal with Brother Yi was robbed. I don't dare to get revenge from that guy, so I can only come to your place." "Brother Ji Lei, who dares to rob your thing?" Yimo asked in confusion. "It's Feng Kong, that old bastard. This person is shameless to a new extreme. He publicly took away my dustless fruit, and I didn't dare to say a word. I originally wanted Brother Yi to help me, but now I feel calmer." Ji Lei indeed wanted to ask Yimo for help, but he later realized that even Yimo probably didn't dare to confront Feng Kong, Grand Emperor. Yimo realized, so it's this old bastard. If I knew earlier, I wouldn't let him have it so easy. "Brother Yi, you saw Feng Kong, Grand Emperor?" Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, asked in confusion. Yimo didn't hide it. "Yes. I smashed his Grand Emperor estate home and killed that manager called Nam Ming. I taught that guy a lesson. If I knew he took Brother Ji Lei's dustless fruit, I wouldn't let him go so easily." "What?" Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, opened his mouth wide in shock and couldn't react for a long time. As soon as he came out of the Void Heaven Domain, he came to Gonghua Heaven. He didn't know what happened in the Grand Heaven Domain, but what Yimo said dazed him. Yimo could even teach Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, a lesson. Didn't this mean he was equal to a half-divine? He smashed Feng Kong, Grand Emperor's estate, and yet could come back to MOU Immortal Sect safely. This clearly meant that Yimo wasn't scared of Feng Kong, Grand Emperor. After a long while, Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, reacted and laughed. "Great, satisfying. Too satisfying. I've lost all my anger. A dustless fruit is nothing, so what if he takes it? Feng Kong bastard, such thing would happen to you too." Haha. Yimo knew he wasn't much stronger than Feng Kong, Grand Emperor now, but he didn't need to say this. He wasn't scared of Feng Kong. "Brother Yi, as in solo cultivator, only I know how hard it is to cultivate to Immortal Emperor. Brother Yi, I finally found a place today. If Brother Yi doesn't mind, I'm willing to join MOU Immortal Sect." Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, immediately bowed and said. Yimo rejoiced. He didn't expect Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, would join MOU Immortal Sect. He welcomed Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, joining MOU Immortal Sect greatly. He quickly said, "It's my honor that Brother Ji Lei can join my MOU Immortal Sect. How can I mind?" Lu Feng quickly greeted Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, too, and rejoiced. "It seems our MOU Immortal Sect will have 2 Immortal Emperors now." Lu Feng didn't know Yimo's power, But from Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, she knew that Mou Immortal Sect also had a He Chong Immortal Emperor. Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor laughed Lu Feng. You might not know that sect leader Yi is an Immortal Emperor too. The top Immortal Emperor of the entire Immortal Realm. Seeing Lu Feng stare at him in shock, Yi Mo laughed. There won't just be two Immortal Emperors. After a while, Kaimi Immortal Emperor will join our Mou Immortal Sect too. Kaimi? Ji Lei Immortal Emperor heard this and looked at Yi Mo in confusion. Yi Mo saw Ji Lei Immortal Emperor's expression and knew that he definitely heard of Kaimi Divine Emperor. So he said that's right, he was previously Kaimi Divine Emperor. He wanted to do things. After a while, he will return to our Mou Immortal Sect. Everyone was dazed. Was this really just a low Heaven Domain King sect? Even the top Emperor sects of the Grand Heaven Domain would only have 4 or 5 Immortal Emperors. Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, didn't dare to believe that a Divine Emperor was joining a low Heaven Domain sect. This sounded so strange. Luckily, Kai Mi was no longer Divine Emperor. Otherwise, all of the Grand Heaven Domain Emperor sects would come visit. Yi Mo didn't say that in a few hundred years, Yu Jinxiang would return to Immortal Emperor. She was Immortal Monarch primary stage now. Unlike Kai Mi, once Yu Jinxiang recovered her power, she would be much stronger than before. Let's not chat outside, let's go back in the sect first. Lu Fenggo announced that 16 years later, our Mou Immortal Sect will have our sect opening ceremony. Yi Mo had decided to spread the news of Mou Immortal Sect. Yes, sect leader, Lu Feng rejoiced. Yi Mo had decided to let Yu Jinxiang and Lu Feng be responsible for the ceremony, and Ji Lei Immortal Emperor to hold the scene. Meanwhile, Yi Mo rebuilt the City Protection Formation and the Immortal Spirit Qi Gathering Immortal Formation. When Yi Mo came back to Mou Immortal Sect, the sect became heated again. Blankets were scattered and half of Su Jingwen's chest was shown. The redness on her face hadn't receded yet, but her eyes didn't leave Yi Mo at all. What are you worried about? Yi Mo held Su Jingwen in his arms and asked. Su Jingwen squeezed into Yi Mo's arm and said worriedly, I'm here with you, but Sister Susu and Qingxue and Yangzhu hasn't ascended yet. I'm worried about them. Sometimes I feel I'm selfish. In order to see you, I ascended earlier. Yi Mo patted Su Jingwen's snow-white shoulders and said, when I finish setting up Mou Immortal Sect's formation, I will go see. How will you go? Can you really go down to the cultivation realm? Su Jingwen subconsciously sat up, not realizing the blanket fell, completely revealing her sturdy chests. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1971. Fail to Tear Space. Chapter 1971. Fail to tear space. I can't go down to the cultivation realm, but my immortal ascension wasn't normal immortal ascension. And Yi Mo subconsciously looked at Su Jingwen and then reached out with his hands. Su Jingwen moaned and then immersed in it again. After some time, Su Jingwen panted before looking at Yi Mo and said, there was a martial sister called Bingyu who came looking for you. After hearing you were lost, she left Mou Immortal Sect. Yi Mo heard this and didn't feel too natural. After ascending to the immortal realm, he had seen too many beautiful female immortals, but he had never been interested in them. The only one he had fascinations for was Zhen Bingyu, and that was under a special circumstance. After a long while, Yi Mo sighed. Zhen Bingyu's Tao heart is completely different to mine. You know what she calls this? What? Lust. Sounds bad. By the way, Jingwen, I'll start teaching you body refinement, okay? Why body refinement? You'll know afterwards. As Yi Mo came back and Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, joined Mou Immortal Sect. Mou Immortal Sect became the center of attention in the low heaven domains. The sects and heaven lords were thinking about what gifts to give when they had their sect opening ceremony. Unlike before, There was clearly an immortal emperor joining the sect. Even in the Middle Heaven domains, an emperor's sect was at the top of the top. Everyone in MOU immortal sect moved while YMO started setting up T formations. This time, YMO had no limitations. He planted 36 extreme grade immortal ranges below MOU immortal sect and 3 below MOU immortal city. He changed the 100,000 void defense kill formation. His current formation means we're completely different than before. He used half a year to reorganize the formation and remake formation flags. Half a year later, the MOU Immortal Sect Protection Formation closed again. Now, it was truly a level 9 Immortal Formation. The instant the formation closed, MOU Immortal Sect Force became grand. It was the grand force and look of an Emperor's Sect. Gile Immortal Emperor stood at the top of a peak and looked at the closed formation and exclaimed. He felt his choice was completely correct. Sect leader Yi was a legend in the immortal realm. His age wasn't big, but his cultivation level, formation skills, and pill concoction skills were all at the peak of the entire immortal realm. He was certain that no one else in the immortal realm could set up this formation. This formation was set up to defend against the gang-up of immortal emperors. With such formation, even if MOU Immortal Sect had no immortal emperors, so what? This was the true force of an emperor's sect. When Ju Heaven Ruo Feng Hill, this was the place Yimo ascended to. After Yimo had set up MOU Immortal Sect formation, he came to here. He was extremely worried about Luo Yu continent people unable to ascend. The only thing he could think of was the place he ascended. It was impossible to find a way into the cultivation realm from the Immortal Ascension Palace. The only possibility was to find a weak space and try to tear it. Usually, the weak places were where cultivators ascended to. He ascended abnormally, so that spot must be the weakest. Yimo knew that even if he found where he ascended to, it wouldn't be easy to tear open the space there. Although there would be small space tears when two top immortal emperors fought, but one couldn't enter those. Those small cracks would disappear in an instant. The space of immortal realms were extremely stable. Even immortal emperors wouldn't be able to tear it casually. Plus, even if you tore it open, so what? The space you tore open was connected to a place you didn't know at all. The Ruo Feng Hill was where he ascended to. If he tore open that place, there should be a broken world. The broken world had 5 pillars. He had the divine damnation there and ascended to the immortal realm. If he just tore here, he would be able to go back to that tattered world. Yimo believed that he wasn't able to spirit control the world at the time, nor tear it open, because he was truth realization state. With his immortal emperor power, he might be able to go back to the heartless sea through there. Ruo Feng Hill was still the same as before. There were half-hard, half-weak soil everywhere. Yimo found the place where he ascended and started setting up formation flags. 3 days later, he completely locked this space, fearing that he would create too much commotion, tearing open the space, causing other places in Wuju Heaven to collapse. After getting ready, Yimo used all his immortal essence and grabbed at the void. Yimo felt a subtle barrier, but then he let go in disappointment. With his current cultivation level, he could feel the barrier, but he was far from being able to tear it open. Rumble. The tear opened up, and an extremely terrifying power came smashing onto Yimo's chest from the dark void. Crack! Yimo's ribs were torn open, and he spat many mouthfuls of blood in the air and twisted in the air. Then, another extremely terrifying suction power came wanting to take Yimo into that space crevice. Yimo was very shocked. He wanted to use this place to get into that broken world, but now he knew he definitely can't go in. The space here was this terrifying. If he went in, he would never be able to come out. Tearing the place open was already hard enough. It would be even hard to come back out. It seemed his power was still too weak. Yimo retreated like crazy, but that void suction seemed to be getting bigger and bigger. Yimo used all his immortal essence to force himself to stop. Rumble. The space Yimo hacked open finally closed, and the suction disappeared. Yimo fell from the sky and couldn't move from the ground. The powerful immortal essence backlash made Yimo spit more blood. He had never been this seriously injured when he fought with other people. Yemo quickly ate a blue spirit essence pill. He was scared. If the void didn't close itself, he would be sucked in. His wounds slowly closed. Yemo rejoiced that he didn't use the golden bow of a mortal extermination arrow to tear the space here. If the arrow was taken away by space, how could he find it? It seemed he would have to wait for Kaimi to come back to ask how Lu Jingquan went into the cultivation realm. Just when Yemo wanted to put away the formation flag, two figures landed next to him. It was a man and woman. The man was Great Unity Immortal, while the female Immortal was Abstruse Immortal Tertiary Stage. It's you?" the female Immortal said in surprise. Yemo got up slowly. He didn't expect to meet someone familiar here. This female Immortal was the Guyin goddess he saw at the city gates of Bai Immortal City. This place wasn't far from Bai Immortal City. She always went there, so it was no wonder she was here. "Martial sister Yin, you know this person?" the male Immortal asked in confusion. Guyin nodded yes. "I saw him at the city gates of Bai Immortal City. I didn't expect he is still here, and is seriously injured." Yemo could tell from her words that he exposed the corner soul weed, and people were searching for him, but he fled. That's why she was surprised to see him here. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1972. Where there is people, there is society. Chapter 1972. Where there is people, there is society. Guyin goddess gave Yemo a pill. This is a recovery pill. Eat it. If you go trial, it's best you find a few people and team up. It's dangerous to be outside alone. Guyin goddess was thinking about asking Yemo about the corner soul weed. Yemo waved his hand. "Thank you, Guyin goddess. I still owe you 5 top-grade immortal crystals. How can I take your immortal pills?" "Thanks. I'll be leaving now." 5 top-grade immortal crystals was a huge fortune to Yemo before, but he knew that she wouldn't even consider it as anything, so he didn't bother repaying her back. "Wait." Guyin quickly stopped Yemo. Yemo stopped and looked at Guyin in confusion. "You have other things?" Guyin goddess said, "Actually, I want to ask, were you the one who took out corner soul weed in the Bai Immortal City?" Yemo realized, so this was it. He didn't need to hide it now, so he admitted, "That's right, I took out those 2 corner soul weed." Suddenly, Yemo thought of Yin Hongzhou. This was quite a nice guy. He didn't know him that well, but he was a good person. Since he came to Bai Immortal City, he would go visit him if he could. Guyin's tone was a bit shaky. "Yemo, can you tell me how you got your corner soul weed?" "In the cultivation realm, I went to a corner and saw some corner soul weed, so I took them. Later I realized these things were good and could repair spirit sense and soul." Yemo knew that even if he went to the sea corner, he might not be able to find it. Guyin's eyes dimmed. The man next to her also seemed to feel down. It was impossible to go to the cultivation realm if one didn't have top god art or know of unique tunnels. But Guyin soon asked Yemo in excitement, "Yemo, do you still have corner soul weeds?" Yemo took out 2 clear weeds to Guyin and said, "I still have 2 here. You can have it. Thanks for giving me 5 immortal crystals before." Guyin goddess really didn't expect she got 2 corner soul weeds so easily. She took it excitedly. "Thank you. Thank you, Yemo. This is very precious. I can't take it for free. Tell me how many immortal crystals." Yemo laughed. "I don't need to rely on these 2 corner soul weed to get rich. Goodbye." Then, no matter how much Guyin called him, he didn't stop and left. Martial sister Guyin, this person is quite good. He can still remember today about the 5 immortal crystals. That Great Unity Immortal looked at Yemo's figure and said. Guyin goddess nodded yes. He can remember the 5 immortal crystals, meaning that he's a very grateful person. Oh, how can I let him go? Father is still looking for him. Plus, if he goes to buy Immortal City now, then he would be over if people knew he was the one with corner soul weed. Thinking about this, Guyin immediately chased over. She wanted to take Emo to see her father and warn Emo to leave by Immortal City. But she chased for a long time and still didn't find any tracks of Emo. She stood in confusion. It's only been this long. How could he leave my spirit sense range? I need to tell my father that Yemo is near the city. The great unity immortal man said, Marshall's sister Guyen. Do you think Uncle would force Yemo to tell him where the corner soul weed came? Why force? Yemo said the corner soul weed came from cultivation realm. There's no point in forcing him. Guyen looked at the great unity immortal in confusion. The great unity immortal smiled. That's right. How can Uncle care about someone who just flew up 100 years or two? Yemo was heavily injured, but he had a mortal pill that even divine emperors might not have. He put a few pills in his mouth, and his wounds recovered rapidly. Yemo found a quiet place and just wanted to change clothes when a figure stumbled into him. This person was covered in blood and seemed more injured than Yemo. Feng Chunma? Yemo didn't expect this person to be her. Feng Chunma didn't seem as young and pretty as before. Instead, she was dark and skinny. Her hair crest had changed to wife style. Your Pill Master Yi? Pill Master Yi, how are you here? Feng Chunma stopped and looked at Yemo in shock. Yemo knew that Feng Chunma would probably leave Extreme Sword Sect after getting the Great Unity pills from him. I was passing by here. I didn't expect you to be here too. What a coincidence. Yemo smiled. Feng Chunma was still Great Unity Immortal Primary Stage now. After she used his Great Unity pills and left the sect, she didn't progress at all. Feng Chunma breathed and took out an ordinary recovery pill to Yemo. Hurry up and eat this. This is close to Bai Immortal City. Are you planning to go there? Yemo pushed her pills back and gave her a pill. Instead, you know I'm an immortal pill master. How can I not have pills? Use my pill. Your wounds will go. Feng Chunma shook her hand. Thank you, but my sea of consciousness is injured. It wouldn't be recovered this easily. Sigh. Just eat it and you will know. Yemo could long tell that Feng Chunma's sea of consciousness was injured. Seeing Yemo being persistent, Feng Chunma could only take it and eat the pill. She trusted Yemo. She was willing to give her virginity to Yemo for the Great Unity pills, but Yemo rejected without hesitation. In just 10 seconds, she looked at Yemo with shock. Pill Master Yi. What immortal pills are these? It can even repair my sea of consciousness? Yemo said calmly, I already told you I'm an immortal pill master. If I can't even cure these injuries, what immortal pill master would I be? It seems your pill concoction skills have improved. You're probably level 5 immortal pill great master now, right? Feng Chunma said in surprise and joy. Yemo nodded. That's right. I can concoct level 5 immortal pill. How did you get in this state? After I left Extreme Sword Sect, I heard it was annihilated. Did you leave at that time? Feng Chunma breathed easy and bowed to Yemo. Pill Master Yi. Thank you for saving me. You should eat some pills too. I'll tell you once you recover. It's a long story. My wounds are pretty much healed. I need to change clothes. You should too. Yemo set up a restriction and cleansed himself before changing clothes. Feng Chunma looked at the restriction Yemo set up so casually and realized that this pill Master Yi was a restriction master. She hid on the side and cleansed herself before changing into blue robes. Although her tired look was still there, she finally looked a bit more like Great Unity Immortal now. Where are you going? Yemo sighed. Feng Chunma reached Great Unity Immortal and should be looking prettier and younger than before. However, her skin was dry. Clearly, she didn't have much time to cultivate and spent most of time fighting and burning her immortal essence and essence blood. Feng Chunma's eyes were dim. I don't know where I should go. For my family, I asked you to concoct a few bottles of Great Unity pills. I just wanted to bring my family back to glory and help my brother get revenge. Later on, I realized how naive I was. They took my Great Unity pills and introduced a Tao partner to me. When my husband was killed, I realized that the one who killed me brother was the one I was helping. After these years, I finally killed the enemy and got my brother revenge, but I've been hunted by them ever since. I've fled for decades, and I don't know where I should go now nor what I should do. Yemo was speechless. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1973. I want to see. Chapter 1973. I want to see if you have nowhere to go, then come with me. Yemo sighed. Yemo guessed a bit why Feng Chuma didn't go to Extreme Sword Sect. She probably left the sect before it was annihilated. Now, she didn't have the face to go back. Thank you, Pill Master Yi. Feng Chuma thanked and hesitated before saying, Pill Master Yi, do you know if the Extreme Sword Sect is okay now? Yemo answered, you don't need to worry about them. They have 2 immortal kings now. They're a famous sect even in all of low heaven domains. Then I'm rest assured. Feng Chunma sighed, and her tone grew more despondent. I wonder if Nianmei and Sister Bingyu are okay. Yemo couldn't answer this. He knew some things about Jin Bingyu, but nothing about Qin Nianmei. Let's go to Bai Immortal City first. I happen to come past here and want to see someone I know. Yemo said. Feng Chunma woke up and quickly handed a mask to Yemo. I must wear this in the Immortal City. There are people hunting me. Yemo wanted to say would dare to hunt him, but then he remembered that he was going to the city to find news about Yin Hongzong. He would have to ask that merchant tower. If he used his original face, the worker there might recognize him to be the one who is Corner Soul Weed. Yemo wasn't afraid of trouble, but he didn't want it. Thinking about this, Yemo put the mask on and said, let's go. I'll ask it by Immortal City. If there's no news, then we'll go back. Yemo followed Feng Chunma into the merchant tower where he gave Yin Hongzhong the Corner Soul Weed, but found that it was no longer the same worker there. Yemo was a little disappointed, but he still went over and saluted with his fists. Immortal friend, I want to ask if you know about Yin Hongzhong. Yin Hongzhong? The worker studied Yemo and shook his head. No, I've never heard of such person. Yemo scanned his spirit sense in the city and didn't see Yin Hongzhong. Since he isn't here and no one knows him, let's go. Yemo said and left. As soon as he came to the door, he saw Guyan Goddess and that great unity immortal man. There was another great extreme immortal behind them. Yemo had seen this great extreme immortal. When he first entered the city, the great extreme immortal was behind Guyan. After all these years, he was still following Guyan Goddess. However, Guyan Goddess was already great unity immortal, but the great extreme immortal was still great extreme immortal. Yemo's mask was given by Yin Hongzhong. How good quality can her mask be? Plus, Yemo didn't even change his hair, nor eyes, nor shoes. Guyan Goddess saw Yemo not long ago and recognized Yemo immediately. She quickly stopped Yemo. Yemo, I didn't expect you to come to the city this quick. I wanted to thank you. Yemo smiled and pulled off Yin Hongzhong's mask, saying, take off the mask. This thing really isn't comfortable. Okay. Yin Hongzhong took off her mask too and stared at the two with alert. No need to thank me. I need to go now, Yemo said and walked off. The Great Extreme Immortal Guard was clearly much harder to talk than the Great Unity Immortal next to Guyan. Seeing Yemo dare to leave so casually, he immediately stopped before Yemo. Wait, do you not see Guyan Goddess asking you question? Guyan Goddess helped you pay the immortal crystals to enter the city. How did you forget immediately? Yemo's face sunk and said coldly, piss off. The Great Extreme Immortal's face changed. He didn't expect a guy who only ascended to the immortal realm for 200 years dares to tell him to piss off. His killing intent soared and his hand reached out. Guyan Goddess quickly stopped the Great Extreme Immortal. Muji, stop. Yemo has helped me. How can you be like that? Stand on the side first. Yes. The Great Extreme Immortal didn't dare to disobey. Guyan said to Yemo apologetically, Yemo, sorry my guard is a bit rude. I'll apologize to you. There was a Wenfeng wine before the tournament at the Bai Immortal City. Why didn't you drink the drop? Did you not like it? Yemo said plainly, indeed. I feel it's not so good, so I didn't have the mood to drink it. Yemo was actually being honest. Guyan didn't expect this answer and was dazed, but Yemo couldn't be bothered talking to her. He signaled Yin Hongzhong and walked off. The Great Unity Immortal Man looked at Yemo and thought for a moment before calling the worker out. What did that masked man do here? The Golden Immortal Worker clearly knew who this Great Unity Immortal was and quickly bowed. Young Master Rue, That person came in to ask who Yin Hongzhong was. Hearing this, Guyan quickly said to Yimo, "Immortal friend Yi, I know who that Yin Hongzhong is, and I know his location." Yimo was just grateful for Yin Hongzhong helping him. This time, he wanted to thank him. Hearing this, he immediately stopped. "Ah, where is immortal friend Yimo?" A loud laughter sounded, and a middle-aged man landed before Yimo. "I'm Yimo. What do you need?" Yimo looked at this man in confusion. This person was Great Eternity, Immortal Peak Stage. The middle-aged man saluted with his fists. "I'm Wenju, Heaven Lord Gobaiwan. I heard you're friends with my daughter, so I came to invite immortal friend Yi to come to my estate." Yimo's face sunk, and he frowned. This Guyan goddess was really rude. She only gave him 5 immortal crystals, but he gave her 2 corner soul weeds. And he told her the corner soul weed was from the cultivation realm, but she was still not satisfied and actually called her father over. A heaven lord came to him clearly for the corner soul weed. "No need for the invitation, I'm still busy," Yimo said plainly and looked at Guyan goddess. "Guyan goddess, if you know where Yin Hongzhong is, tell me. If not, I'm leaving." "Is the Yin Hongzhong you're talking? Yin Xiaoyuan's son?" "If it is him, then his father is in some trouble," Gobaiwan said. Guyan goddess immediately said, "Yes, father. Yin Hongzhong is Yin Xiaoyuan uncle's son. Immortal friend Yi, I don't know if you're Yin Hongzhong's friend or not, but his father is indeed in some trouble. If you're Yin Hongzhong's friend, then come to the city lord estate, and we'll discuss it. I'm trying hard to help too, sigh." Gobaiwan sighed. The worry in his tone was clear. Yimo sneered. He needed to find Yin Hongzhong, and his father was immediately in trouble. He just hoped Yin Hongzhong was being honest, otherwise he would be cruel. He glanced at Gobaiwan and said, "In that case, please lead the way. I want to see what big trouble it is." Gobaiwan's worry couldn't be more fake. Yimo didn't like this guy at all. Hearing Yimo's rude tone, a Great Eternity Immortal Primary Stage guard behind Gobaiwan's face sunk immediately. "If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters." Chapter 1974. Fourth Golden Bone Arrow. Chapter 1974. Fourth Golden Bone Arrow. Gobaiwan quickly signaled to Guyan, hoping for her to stop Yimo. From his perspective, Yimo could give another 2 corner soul weed to his daughter because he secretly liked his daughter. It was daydreaming for someone like Yimo to want his daughter, but he could use this now to make Yimo hand over corner soul weed or its origin. Guyan didn't know what her father truly meant, and just thought her father thought she was closer to Yimo. Just when she was going to call Yimo, a scornful voice sounded. "Bullshit. What trouble? It's just some immortal crystals compensation." With Yin Xiaoyuan's status in the Hongxian Merchant Association, could he not afford that immortal crystals? Reijiu, 5 billion top-grade immortal crystals is not little. Gobaiwan's face was bad. If it wasn't that this person's cultivation level was on par with him, he would teach this person a lesson immediately. After he was done with Yimo, he would still teach this guy a lesson. At first, Yimo thought Gobaiwan was really tricking him, but after hearing it was 5 billion immortal crystals, Yimo knew it wasn't bullshit. Even in the Grand Heaven domain, people would need certain status to have 5 billion immortal crystals. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to have this many immortal crystals. Even though Yin Xiaoyuan had equity in Hongxian Merchant Association, he probably wouldn't be able to afford it. Yimo looked at this tattered Raojio and asked, "What exactly is it? Do you know?" Raojio looked at Yimo in contempt. "If I don't know what I be talking? Give me 100k immortal crystals. I'll take you to Yin Xiaoyuan's place." It's because Yin Xiaoyuan auctioned a golden bone arrow. This bone arrow. Yimo was extremely shocked. He threw a storage ring to Raojio and said, "Don't waste time. This is 100k immortal crystals. Lead the way." Raojio was just asking for an insane price, but Yimo didn't even argue. His spirit sense scanned inside. It was 100k indeed. This was definitely a wealthy person. Raojio said excitedly, "Young master, please follow me. I will take you to Yin Xiaoyuan's place." Raoju knew that he asked a bit too late. Yimo signaled Feng Chunma to come. Immortal friend, you wait. Yin Xiaoyuan's is my friend. Come to the city lord estate first. I'll invite Yin Xiaoyuan over. Gobaiwen quickly called behind. Yimo didn't have the time to talk to Gobaiwen and just urged Raoju to hurry up. Gobaiwen saw that Yimo ignored him, but he couldn't capture Yimo on the streets, so he could only call out, Yimo, my daughter thinks you're not bad. I think you're a good person, too. If you're willing, you could be my disciple and cultivate with my daughter. Gu Yin and the great unity immortal man looked dazedly at Gobaiwen. Father, just when Gu Yin wanted to say something, she heard Yimo's voice. Thank you for your good, will heaven Lord Gu. I like being free. I don't deserve your daughter. Gu Yin was immediately annoyed hearing this. Whether or not she wanted to was her decision. What right did Yimo have to say this? She had been nice to Yimo, but it didn't mean she treated Yimo as an equal. Yimo wasn't solo cultivator and only ascended to the immortal realm for 200 years. What right did he have to not want her? Seeing Yimo disappear from sight, Gobaiwen's face sunk. He said to that guard, wait at the city gates. Gu Yin didn't like Yimo's tone, but her father was clearly going to take Yimo away by force. She was a bit worried. She was prideful, but she wasn't as evil as her dad. She felt Yimo was a good person, but despite knowing her dad was going to take Yimo, she didn't dare to say anything. As soon as Yimo came to Yin Xiaoyuan's estate, he knew why he was in trouble. His estate was covered by formation and restriction. There were two great eternity immortal primary stages watching closely. There was no way Yin Xiaoyuan could come out under such situation. Gobaiwen was bullshitting saying that he could invite Yin Xiaoyuan out. Yimo's spirit sense scanned in. A well-dressed, chubby, great eternity immortal tertiary stage sat in the hall with a bitter face. Before him was a kettle of foam wine. There was no one around, but two maids standing there. Looking at this chubby man, Yimo knew it was Yin Xiaoyuan. He looked a bit like Yin Hongzhong. Okay, you have no business here. You can go, Yimo said to Raoju. Raoju smiled, young master, I'll wait for you here. When you're ready to go, I'll take you back. Don't worry, I won't raise the price. It'll be the same. Yimo knew this guy was after his immortal crystals. His face went cold and killing intent surged out. An invisible sword ray sliced off Raoju's leg. Piss off, if you dare to say one more word you'll never need to leave, Yimo said, and then took Feng Chunma into the cultivation home. These restrictions seemed useless to him. Finally, Raoju's leg started to bleed. He looked at Yimo's figure with a pale face and his hands were shaky. After a long while, he picked up his broken leg and said shakily, yes, Qian Bei. Wan Bei will leave immediately. How could he not know now that Yimo was someone he couldn't mess with? He could easily bind him and slice off his leg. Yimo's power was unbelievable. He was lucky to even be alive after messing with such person. Feng Chunma followed Yimo dazedly into the cultivation home and asked in shock, Pill Master Yi, are you status immortal already? I'll tell you this when I get back. I have important things to do now. It's very important to me. Yimo said important twice. The golden bone arrow was too important to him. For something like the golden bow of immortal extermination, for arrows would be many times stronger than 3 arrows. When he fought with Ji Zong, immortal emperor, if all 3 of his arrows were real, he would have to await death. He wouldn't even be able to enter the golden page world. Yin Xiaoyuan sat there with a bitter face. He couldn't afford the 5 billion immortal crystals. Plus, that bastard knew he had a Yi King pill and wanted it too. Yin Xiaoyuan saw Yimo and Feng Chunma enter. He immediately got up. Yimo greeted first, immortal friend Yin. Yimo came to disturb you. Yimo, are you sent over by the Hong Xian Merchant Association? Yin Xiaoyuan looked at Yimo in confusion. Yimo laughed. I'm friends with Yin Hongzhong. I came past by Immortal City and came to see him, but I heard he wasn't in the city, so I came to your estate to visit you. This is my friend Feng Chunma. Yin Xiaoyuan immediately shook and got up and reproached, just what do you want? I'm willing to give it to you. I can gather more immortal crystals. Don't do anything to my son. Hongzhong doesn't have anything on him. I've said he isn't in the city. Yimo quickly said, don't misunderstand, immortal friend Yin. I'm really Yin Hongzhong's friend. When I first ascended, I passed by immortal city and didn't have any immortal crystals. I couldn't buy anything. Yin Hongzhong was a good person and bought a flying cultivation artifact of mine, and later on I gave him 2 corner soul weed. I don't know if he mentioned this to you. He did, so it's you? Yin Xiaoyuan realized. He looked at Feng Chuma and believed this. Feng Chuma was only great unity, immortal primary stage. Yimo hid his power, but he wouldn't be any higher. Yimo knew that Yin Xiaoyuan was still suspicious of his identity, so he grabbed out some corner soul weed and put them on the table. Look at these and you'll know I'm not lying. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A, and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1975, Hong Xian Merchant Association. Chapter 1975, Hong Xian Merchant Association. It really is you. Then why don't you hurry up and leave? Do you know the consequence of exposing your corner soul weed? There are countless people in the Bai Immortal City who wants to kill you. When you left the city, there were people hunting you. Hurry up and leave. Yin Xiaoyuan said worriedly. Yimo put the corner soul weed away and patted Yin Xiaoyuan's shoulder. Since I dare to come, I wouldn't be scared of some clowns. Yin Xiaoyuan and Yin Hongzhong were similar. They were really nice. Seeing Yimo act so casual, Yin Xiaoyuan sighed. He asked, did the 2 guards ask a lot of questions when you came in? Never mind. Even if you want to leave, you probably can't now. I'm probably set up by someone. Yimo laughed. This guy wasn't hopeless since he could realize he was set up. The father and son weren't calculated people, so it was normal they were set up. When I came in, the guards didn't ask anything, because the restrictions around your estate is like nothing to me. Yimo smiled. Yin Xiaoyuan's eyes lit up. Is immortal friend Yi a formation grandmaster? Yimo nodded. Immortal friend Yi. If you can leave from this formation secretly, why don't we escape first? Yin Xiaoyuan suggested. Yimo was lost for words. Did he need to run? Don't worry, immortal friend Yin. Just tell me what happened, and let's see if there's a resolution. Yimo sat down and signaled Feng Chuma to sat down. Yin Xiaoyuan laughed awkwardly, knowing his idea wasn't great. He sat down and poured them a cup of Wenfeng wine each and sighed. I've always been cultivating in the city, and I have my own store. I can at least let the people around me cultivate. However, after I got a king pill once, I felt things weren't right. Yin Xiaoyuan spoke for 15 minutes, and Yimo finally understood what was going on. Yin Xiaoyuan got lucky and got a king pill once, and not long after that, the Hong Xian Merchant Association was interested in him. They invited Yin Xiaoyuan to join the Merchant Association and combine his shop into it. He would then get equity in the Merchant Association and be a manager in the Merchant Association. Yin Xiaoyuan's store was good, but it couldn't buy the top-level immortal pills. After considering carefully, he accepted the invitation and joined them. A few years later, Yin Xiaoyuan found that his decision was right. His income was tens of times greater than before, and in just a few decades he had nearly 500 million immortal crystals. He could use better pills for cultivation. He had only collected 2 billion immortal crystals after countless years. If this went on, he would soon be able to save 10 billion immortal crystals and go into solitary cultivation to break through to Immortal King. However, a few months ago, a mysterious customer came to Hong Xian Merchant Association. He knew that the city was going to have a big auction, so he wanted to auction a bow and arrow. The arrow was completely golden and dense restrictions. Spirit sense couldn't scan through it at all. An immortal king of the Merchant Association and a few great eternity immortals confirmed that the arrow was worth at least 7 billion immortal crystals. Yin Xiaoyuan was one of the people who verified it. This bow and arrow became the final auction item. Eventually, Yin Xiaoyuan sealed the bow and arrow in a jade box and placed it in the stores. However, that mysterious customer suddenly said that he didn't want to sell it anymore the next day and was willing to pay the fine. Although it was a loss for the Merchant Association to not sell it, they could only return the bow and arrow. It was Yin Xiaoyuan who put the bow and arrow in the storage, so it was he who went to take it out. However, when Yin Xiaoyuan went to pick up the jade box, it was empty. Yin Xiaoyuan was the prime suspect, and before the bow and arrow was found, he was locked up in his home. Would someone have stolen the bow and arrow after you put it in and blame it on you? Feng Chima could tell Yin Xiaoyuan didn't seem to be someone to steal it. Yin Xiaoyuan grabbed his hair and said, I knew the bow and arrow was stolen, but the storage needed 5 jade cards at the same time to activate. Otherwise, even an immortal emperor wouldn't be able to open it. If it was forced open, there would be alarms. I have 1 jade card on me, so no one should be able to go in. Yin Xiaoyuan sighed, of course I know I was set up now. The Merchant Association had been in the city for 10,000 years. Their reputation has been very good, so I didn't believe this at first. Even though I know they're setting me up, there's no way for me to get justice. I just want to compensate them and leave. However, I owe 2 billion immortal crystals. It wasn't important to EMO if Yin Xiaoyuan was set up or not. What was important was that he get this golden arrow. He was certain from Yin Xiaoyuan's description that it was the bone arrow he was after. If it was the real one, then even 70 billion wouldn't be enough to buy it. EMO patted Yin Xiaoyuan's shoulder. Take me to see the people who verified the arrow and the seller. Yin Xiaoyuan waved his hand quickly. No, I can't leave. If I'm caught leaving, I would be hunted immediately. EMO laughed, and a powerful force rose. Yin Xiaoyuan just felt he was instantly bound and couldn't even move a finger. Yin Xiaoyuan's face was pale. He was shook by Yi-Mo's terrifying cultivation level. After 10 seconds later, Yi-Mo released his domain and said, Immortal friend Yin, do you think I have a right to talk to them? Yin Xiaoyuan wiped the sweat from his forehead and said with a daze, So you're already Immortal King. I was so rude before, but we can only talk nicely with them and not fight. Yi-Mo laughed. Immortal King? Can an immortal king easily bind a great eternity immortal tertiary stage till the degree that he can't move at all? He didn't rebuke and just said, I know, I have some immortal crystals. If it's not enough, I'll pay for you. Thank you, Yi Qianbei. I will definitely pay your immortal crystals back. Yin Xiaoyuan bowed. Just call me EMO. Feng Chunma looked dazedly at EMO. She guessed that EMO was status immortal, but now it was proven he was. She was still shocked. After all, when she first saw Yi-Mo, he was only a golden immortal. Seeing Yi-Mo easily take him out of his home without startling the guards, Yin Xiaoyuan wanted to reach Immortal King even more. Immortal King was this powerful. It was a completely different level to Great Eternity Immortal. The Hongxian Merchant Association looked more grand than even the City Lord Estate. The association leader and a few managers are all at the 3rd level. I still have 3 days to gather immortal crystals. The seller of the golden arrow should still be in the Merchant Association too. Yin Xiaoyuan said. Yi-Mo's spirit sense had already penetrated the barrier formation and scanned the entire place. I see it, let's go out. Yi-Mo then walked in the tower first. Yin Xiaoyuan was planning to explain to the guards, but then he saw that the guards didn't seem to see them at all. At this moment, there were 5 immortals in the level 3 discussion hall. 2 of them were Immortal King. The E-King pill is less important. The main thing is Yin Xiaoyuan's blood. We can reduce his compensation and make him willingly give us his essence blood to open the restriction. If the E-King pill can allow Yin Xiaoyuan to reach Immortal King, I would rather wait till he is Immortal King before going. A purple-robed Immortal King said. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1976. I'm not going. Chapter 1976. I'm not going. Hearing this, Yi-Mo realized that this was indeed so. If a merchant association was going to set up a great eternity immortal using decades of time for just the E-King pill and a few bill immortal crystals, this merchant association would be too shitty. Just when another immortal king was going to talk, he suddenly stopped as the restriction outside the meeting hall sounded. They had already ordered before that without important things no one was allowed to casually enter here. Who dared to come now? The immortal king opened a restriction and found that it was Yin Xiaoyuan standing at the door. He immediately asked in surprise Manager Yin, "How is it you?" How? Yimo knew that Yin Xiaoyuan couldn't handle this situation. So he answered, because Manager Yin wants to leave Bai City, so he came to the Merchant Association to see if he could compensate less immortal crystals. He can't pay up that much in one time. Who are you? The Immortal King asked Yimo. Yimo quickly said, I'm Yin Hongzhong's friend. I came here to see if he's back and encountered this. If it wasn't that I didn't have enough immortal crystals, I would want to help. The two immortal kings in the hall glanced at each other. The purple-robed immortal king smiled. In that case, please sit. By the way, Manager Yin, I heard the seller sent 2 guards outside your estate to guard. They didn't trouble you when you can outright? No matter how dumb Yin Xiaoyuan was, he knew what to say now and quickly answered no. When immortal friend Yi and Feng came to my estate, there was no one. We spent a long time opening that restriction. Yeah, luckily I know a bit about restriction, so I barely opened it. And then we hurried here. Yimo smiled. Just when this immortal king also wanted to ask how Yin Xiaoyuan could enter here without people stopping him, he realized that asking this would clearly mean that they were setting Yin Xiaoyuan up. Yimo was a bit disappointed. Other immortal emperors may not be able to see through storage ring with restriction, but it didn't mean he couldn't. His spirit sense blades broke through the restriction of their storage ring and checked inside. There was no golden bow and arrow. Immortal friend Yi, let me introduce. This is my Hongxian Merchant Association's association, leader Xingyang, Immortal King Yuingzhou. Yin Xiaoyuan pointed at the purple-robed immortal king. The other immortal king stood up. I'm Gan Li Hui, the person responsible for this auction. Due to this incident occurring, I can't leave here. Manager Yin said he didn't have enough immortal crystals, but I'm very troubled by this too. After all, it's not up to the Merchant Association, but the seller. Yimo grasped this opportunity and said, that's easy. Invite the seller over to discuss this. Just then I suggested to Yin Xiaoyuan to leave, but he said he had been in the Merchant Association for all these years and couldn't just leave. Hearing this, a sliver of shock flashed across the eyes of the two immortal kings. They were even a little scared. What would they do if Yin Xiaoyuan really got away? The seller is here. Zhengyang, immortal king, suddenly smiled and got up. As soon as he finished speaking, another gray-robed man came in. His face was expressionless, but Yimo could immediately tell he was an immortal monarch primary stage. Yin Xiaoyuan got up and greeted this seller while asking politely if he could compensate less immortal crystals. He really just wanted to pay the immortal crystals and leave despite knowing that he was scammed. Yimo's spirit sense blades pierced this immortal monarch storage ring, and Yimo immediately rejoiced. He found a golden bone arrow. After checking with his spirit sense, he immediately knew this was what he wanted. Just when Yimo wanted to go up, he heard this immortal monarch say coldly 6 billion immortal crystals and an E-King pill. Not one corner less. Yimo stopped Yin Xiaoyuan from talking and walked up to the immortal monarch, reaching out his hand. I haven't asked for your name. The immortal monarch sneered and didn't even look at Yimo's hand. There was this greeting in the immortal realm, which was the hand greeting. If two people wanted to be friends the first time they saw each other, they would do this. Even if one side didn't want to be friends, they would do something to show respect. How the immortal monarch completely ignored Yimo was extremely insulting. However, Yimo still smiled and reached his hand again. When the seller ignored him again, Yimo took his hand back awkwardly. Even the two immortal king and great eternity immortals of Hongxian Merchant Association pitted Yimo. Only Yimo was extremely happy. He didn't care about this at all. During the time he reached his hand, he already broke into the storage ring and took the golden bone arrow into his golden page world. If I didn't hear that you had an E-King pill, I wouldn't even agree to 15.6 billion. That golden bone arrow had been verified by immortal Emperor Qianbei. It's an ancient god arrow. How can it be bought with immortal crystals? The seller said. Yimo looked at Yin Xiaoyuan and said, Immortal friend Yin, how much immortal crystals do you have? Give me your immortal crystals and King pill. I'll help you deal. Yin Xiaoyuan didn't think much and took out a storage ring to Yimo. This is the immortal crystals and King pill I have gathered. Yimo scanned inside and only found 2 billion plus a middle-grade King pill. Yimo threw another 4 billion in and removed the restriction. There's 5.6 billion immortal crystals here and another King pill. Everyone have a look. If there's no problem, I'm going to compensate the seller. Yimo's words immediately made everyone here stand up. They knew Yin Xiaoyuan didn't have 5.6 billion immortal crystals. That's why they set that number. As long as Yin Xiaoyuan paid the compensation, they wouldn't be able to get Yin Xiaoyuan to willingly give up his essence blood to help break the formation. Their spirit sense scanned the storage ring. There really was 5.6 billion immortal crystals, and the King pill was real. Immortal friend, what do you think? The association leader saluted with his fists and asked the seller. The seller took the storage ring and checked. His face immediately sunk. In that case, this will do. Then he took the storage ring and was going to go. Yimo stopped him again and reached out his hand. Thank you for your magnanimity. The immortal monarch sneered and walked out without even looking at Yimo. Yimo laughed. He took back the storage ring he just gave out. Then he said to Yin Xiaoyuan, Manager Yin, there's no more business here. Why don't we go first? He knew he would see the immortal monarch later, but it was better to put the things on him. Yin Xiaoyuan reacted and quickly bowed to Yimo. Thank you, immortal friend Yi. If it wasn't for you, I would be over. It's a small thing, no problem. Yimo waved his hand and walked to the door. He was certain the Hongxian Merchant Association people would stop them. As soon as they reached the door, the association leader laughed. The Merchant Association is so guilty that we weren't able to help Manager Yin with this. It's the past, no need to bring it up. Yin Xiaoyuan waved his hand, clearly really disappointed in the Merchant Association. The other immortal king laughed. Manager Yin, we weren't able to help with this indeed, but Manager Yin helped us solve a big problem. In order to thank you, we're planning to let you join our team to open up an ancient immortal residence. What immortal residence? Yin Xiaoyuan looked at Gan Lihui and asked. Zheng Yang, immortal king, quickly came over and said, it's like this. We found an ancient immortal residence. If it wasn't for Manager Yan's incident, we would have already went. Now that this is resolved, we have decided to share this with Manager Yan. I'm not going, Yin Xiaoyuan said without hesitation. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1977, 5-Element World. Chapter 1977, 5-Element World. Yimo didn't care if Yin Xiaoyuan went to that ancient immortal residence or not. Even if it was an immortal monarch immortal residence, it would only be so-so. Hearing Yin Xiaoyuan not wanting to go, Zhengyang immortal king was desperate. Manager Yin, this ancient immortal residence isn't far. It's at Ruofeng Hill. We've been there once. It seems to be related to 5-Element Divine Emperor. Yimo was confused when he heard Ruofeng Hill. The immortal spirit Qi there was very arid. How could there be an ancient immortal residence? Yimo had heard of 5-Element Divine Emperor and asked Kaimi about him. 5-Element Divine Emperor used 5-Element World to vindicate Tao. He had a world between Chaos World and Truth Spirit World called 5-Element World. It was much higher level than Truth Spirit World. If the 5 elements were complete, then it was a weaker version of Chaos World. Yimo didn't connect this 5-Element World to the place he ascended from, but hearing it was at Ruofeng Hill, he immediately thought of that broken world he was trapped in. There was 5 huge pillars there? His spirit sense couldn't scan into those big pillars at all before. Was that 5-Element Divine Emperor's 5-Element World? Thinking about this, Yimo patted Yin Xiaoyuan and said, Manager, Yin, since it's an ancient immortal residence, let's go see too. There might be some fortune for us. Since Yimo said this, Yin Xiaoyuan could only agree, let's go see then, but I can't waste too much time. It won't, we'll leave now. Zhengyang, immortal king, quickly said. Ruofenghe wasn't far from Bai, the immortal city. In just half a day, the 5 from Hongxian Merchant Association and Yimo and them were here. From here we'll travel in Earth for 4 hours, and we can see the door to Ticherd. Zhengyang, immortal king, pointed at a small hill. Yimo's spirit sense scanned in. Immortal king, Earth mobility for 4 hours. This was definitely an extremely far distance. Ordinary immortal emperors with powerful spirit sense can scan that distance, but if they're not that bored, they wouldn't scan this deep into the earth with spirit sense. Yimo's spirit sense was very powerful, and he had spirit sense blades. His spirit sense broken through layers of mud and rocks. In just tens of seconds, his spirit sense saw a huge space. It was more like a hall, and there was a golden gate. Yimo took back his spirit sense and sighed. It was such a subtle place. How did Hongxian Merchant Association found it? This immortal residence was too well hidden. There was no restriction nor immortal spirit chi, seeing Yimo not talk for a long time. Zhengyang, immortal king, looked at Yin Xiaoyuan, Manager Yin. Let's go down now. Immortal friend Yi, what do you think? Yin Xiaoyuan looked at Yimo. Of course we go down. We can't come across such good things so easily. Yimo smiled and said. Zhengyang, immortal king, praised immortal friend Yi. Nice mindset. Such fortune is rare indeed. I'll lead the way. Then Zhengyang, immortal king, went into the earth. Yimo said to Feng Chunma and Yin Xiaoyuan, let's go down too. Seeing the 3 go down, the other 4 followed. At the city gates of Bai, the immortal city, Go Baiwen's face was bleak. The guard that followed him was already dead at the city gates, but as Thel, Go Baiwen didn't dare to say a word. His guard saw Yi Mo leave the city, but was warned by a faceless guy not to follow. The guard just said an extra word and was killed by this person. From the force of it, he could tell it was at least an immortal king tertiary stage, or even immortal monarch who killed his guard. He was a mere great eternity immortal tertiary stage. Even though he was a heaven lord, he would just have to take it. Guyin got his side. Father, let's go. That Yimo is dead for sure. It was my fault for harming him. It wasn't easy for someone as careless as him to live up until now. The great unity, immortal next to Gu Yin, comforted Marshall's sister Gu Yin. It's not your fault. That Yimo had cornered soul weed and was this reckless. Even if he didn't die today, he would die sooner or later. Gu Yin heard this and suddenly thought, if Yimo was dead for sure, why did he appear in the city again after all these years? Such strong space. Feng Chima said in shock. Her spirit sense couldn't penetrate this dimension at all. We just need to open this golden gate to enter the immortal residence. Zhengyang, immortal king, pointed at the golden gate and said. Yimo scanned the golden gate. There was an extremely ancient feeling from it. He had only felt such chi from Kai Mi and Chu Chan, divine emperor. This meant that this immortal residence might really be a divine emperor ruin. Even Yimo's head was dizzy from looking at the complex restriction and formation. This gate is probably opened by essence blood. We have 8 people here. I think we should try one by one, Gan Lihue said. Yimo heard them say that the door had to be opened by Yin Xiaoyuan's essence blood. This meant that the immortal residence was related to Yin Xiaoyuan's ancestor. However, how did Zhengyang, immortal king, and them know? After knowing the exact location of the immortal residence, the rest of them were extra to Yimo now. Before Zhengyang, immortal king, could talk, he said to Yin Xiaoyuan, Brother, Yin, if this place is really left behind by 5-element divine emperor, then 5-element divine emperor might be your ancestor. This golden gate isn't opened by essence blood, it's essence blood heritage. Only direct descendant of your Yin bloodline can open it. They have to open it willingly, otherwise this gate wouldn't open. Yin Xiaoyuan looked at the 5 people from the Merchant Association in shock, and then at Yimo. Brother, you mean? Yimo sneered, I mean these people set you up to open this gate. As soon as the gate is open, you're useless. Zong, when you invited me into the Hong Xian Merchant Association, did you already know that my ancestor left this five-element divine emperor? Yin Xiaoyuan said in fury. Not only you, I'm afraid your son is taken here too, but for some reason they didn't use his blood to open this. Yimo said again. Ah, you're very good. You know this much, and were able to take the golden bone arrow and storage ring from me. I underestimated you. Two more figures appeared. One was the seller, but the other was a woman. Yimo saw that the woman was Immortal Monarch Tertiary Stage Peak. At this moment, Yimo realized that this woman was the mastermind behind all this. Even I can't see your cultivation levels? The woman looked at Yimo in surprise. Yin Xiaoyuan was shaking with anger. The Immortal Monarch Peak woman waved her hand, and an abstruse immortal missing an arm appeared. Open the immortal residence, and I'll let you two leave. Hongzhong, Yin Xiaoyuan saw that this abstruse immortal was his son Yin Xiaoyuan, and called out in fury. He charged over and helped him up. Yin Xiaoyuan said feebly, Dad, don't trust these people. They won't let us go. My arm was sliced off to open the door. Luckily, I didn't do it willingly, and my cultivation level is low, so the golden gate wasn't opened. Mother was already killed by these bastards. Don't trust them. Immortal friend Hongzhong, eat this pill first. Yimo took out an immortal pill and gave it to Yin Hongzhong. Your immortal friend Yi, the one who gave me corner. Yin Hongzhong recognized Yimo immediately and said in shock, but then he looked at his father in disbelief. Why was Yimo here too? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1978. Immortal Emperor is here. Chapter 1978. Immortal Emperor is here, that's right. I gave you the corner soul weed. Then your corner soul weed seemed to have been taken by the Hong Xian Merchant Association. It's okay, I still have more. I'll give you two later. Yimo said, and then waved the pill in his hand. This is a medical pill. Eat it first. Brother Yi. Yin Hongzhong looked dazedly at Yimo. Was Yimo asking to die? You have corner soul weed? That immortal monarch peak stage stared at Yimo in surprise and joy. The joy in her eyes couldn't be hidden at all. Once immortals cultivate to a certain degree, their immortal essence has settled, and the reason it's hard to break through is because spirit sense is hard to improve. Corner soul weed is very rare, but can improve one's spirit sense. That's right, I have corner soul weed, Yimo said and showed a few. Haha, the immortal monarch peak stage woman laughed and grabbed at Yimo. But her hand stopped in midair. The next moment, she saw Yimo punch and hear the last words of her life. You can't see my cultivation level not because I hit it but because you're too weak. You're an immortal emperor. The woman's face went pale as paper. She actually offended an immortal emperor and tried to rob his corner soul weed. She really wanted to beg for mercy but she couldn't say anything at all. Thud. Yimo's void punch didn't go easy. This woman was obliterated without resistance. A storage ring fell on the ground. Yimo said to the dazed Feng Chuma, I've removed the restriction of this storage ring. You can have it. I don't need an immortal monarch storage ring. Only then did Feng Chuma react and said, Thank you, Pill Master Yi. Yi Qianbei. Then she quickly picked up the storage ring. It was her fortune. You immortal Emperor Qianbei. Everyone was dazed. Yimo killed an immortal monarch peak stage with one punch, and that immortal monarch said before death that Yimo was an immortal emperor. No matter how much courage they had, they didn't dare to act against an immortal emperor. Qianbei, Wanbei, that immortal monarch seller was extremely shaky. Yimo knew that the bone arrow all came from Abyssal River, so he couldn't even be bothered asking this immortal monarch. Yimo's immortal emperor domain suddenly expanded, and he said to Yin Xiaoyuan and Yin Hongzhong, if you want to get revenge, then hurry up. The two reacted. Both of them knew that their fortune was here. Qianbei, our Hong Xian Merchant Association has more than one branch. Even if Qianbei is immortal emperor, Are you not scared that our merchant association would come for Qianbei? Zheng Yang, immortal king, called out. Yimo said coldly, I'm MOU immortal sect leader Yimo. If your merchant association finds MOU immortal sect, I welcome you at any time. MOU immortal sect. The managers and association leader of the merchant association were dumbfounded. The most glorious sect right now was MOU immortal sect. Getting revenge from MOU immortal sect was like thinking life was too boring. Yimo didn't show any mercy to these people. He knew that if he was an immortal emperor, he wouldn't be able to subjugate them. When the immortal residence opened, they would all die. The Hong father and son were overjoyed. They actually knew the sect leader of MOU immortal sect. They didn't have a place to go. Later they would ask sect leader Yi to let them join. But thinking about how the merchant association annihilated their entire family, they were furious and charged up. In a short while, the people bound by Yi Mo's domain turned to dust. Not even their essence spirit escaped. Yin Xiaoyuan picked up the 6th storage ring and gave it to Yi Mo. They were extremely grateful to them. Yi Mo didn't take it and instead took out a storage ring to Yin Xiaoyuan. This is the storage ring you use for compensation. Qianbei, this storage ring should be left to you. Yin Xiaoyuan didn't want it. Yi Mo laughed. I don't care about these immortal crystals. Just take it. If you have nowhere to go, you can join my MOU immortal sect. Thank you, Yi Qianbei. Feng Chunmo quickly thanked. She had been thinking about how to ask to join MOU immortal sect. The Hong father and son didn't reject anymore and took the storage rings. Moments later, Yin Xiaoyuan took out an extremely ancient jade slip from Zheng Yang immortal king's storage ring and said, Sect leader Yi, this jade slip is probably about the 5-element world of our Yin family. Yi Mo took the spirit sense and scanned in. It was indeed about the 5-element world. Its location was marked clearly, and it also explained how to open and who to open it. Yi Mo gave the jade slip to Yin Xiaoyuan to see. Yin Xiaoyuan immediately said, Sect leader Yi, why don't I try? It's probably very hard. The jade slip said that only a status immortal essence blood would be able to open it. You're only great eternity immortal tertiary stage. Yi Mo said. Yin Xiaoyuan had already put his essence blood into the 2 sides of the golden gate, as per request from the jade slip. The golden gate just emitted golden rays, but didn't open. It seems my cultivation level is too low. Yin Xiaoyuan shook his head and said, Come again when you're immortal king. This place might be related to the place I ascended from. I really want to go in and see. Yi Mo said. The group left the immortal residence and immediately headed towards MOU immortal sect. Coming here, Yi Mo handed Feng Chunma and them to Lu Feng to arrange. He notified Su Jingwen and Ji Lei, immortal emperor, before starting solitary cultivation. 5 years' time, Yi Mo spent large amounts of extreme grade immortal range in the time formation disk and finally stabilized his cultivation level at immortal emperor primary stage. Then he took out an emperor with blue fruit. In another 5 years, Yi Mo surpassed immortal emperor primary stage and stabilized his power at immortal emperor middle stage before stopping cultivation. This 10 years, he used the majority of the remaining extreme great immortal range. Even if he wanted to reach immortal emperor tertiary stage, he didn't have the time nor the immortal range. There was still a few years from MOU immortal sect opening ceremony. Yi Mo didn't leave solitary cultivation and instead spirit controlled the 4 arrows. In another 5 years, Yi Mo completely refined the 4 arrows to the 71st restriction as well as the golden bow of immortal extermination to 71st restriction. It wasn't that Yi Mo didn't want to go keep, but it was already his extreme. If he continued, it would take tens of times more time to refine it. The golden bow of immortal extermination was many times stronger than before. Yi Mo was certain that if he fought Feng Kong Grand Emperor now, even if Feng Kong Grand Emperor had powerful lethal blows, he wouldn't be able to survive his 4 arrows. Feng Kong Grand Emperor wasn't Yi Mo's target. After knowing there was Tao Actualization Divine Emperor, Tao Essence Divine Emperor, and so forth, Yi-Mo's target was different. When Yi-Mo came out of solitary cultivation, Tang Beiwei and Su Jingwen immediately knew. Lu Feng and them came too. Yi-Mo now realized that the MOU Immortal Sect opening ceremony was about to begin. At this moment, Yi-Mo scanned his soul out and found dashing lights and flying magic artifacts all head towards MOU Immortal Sect. All the immortal rest towers of MOU Immortal Sect were full. Kaimi had returned to the sect and was with Ji Lei, Immortal Emperor, handling all the immortal emperors of the Grand Heaven Domain. What shocked Yi-Mo was that Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor, was here. He didn't see Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, but Yi-Mo knew the person sitting with Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor. It was Dragon River Grand Emperor. Yi-Mo scanned his spirit sense on Dragon River, and he immediately noticed and looked towards Yi-Mo. Wei Feng, Grand Emperor, was sly and didn't have much enmity with Yi-Mo. It was reasonable that he came, but Yi-Mo felt strange about Dragon River Grand Emperor's sudden arrival. He felt that Dragon River was on the same line as Feng Kong, Grand Emperor. Since he had enmity with Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, Dragon River shouldn't be here. Regardless, Yi-Mo didn't care. He said to Tang Beiwei and Su Jingwen, "Come see all the immortal emperors of the Grand Heaven Domain with me." The reason he did this was because he wanted them to be taken care of when they went to the Grand Heaven Domain. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1979. Absurd MOU Immortal Sect. Chapter 1979. Absurd MOU Immortal Sect. Yi-Mo thank all the Immortal Emperor friends here. It's the honor of MOU Immortal Sect that you can all come to our sect opening ceremony. All those immortal friends here are the friends of my MOU Immortal Sect, are my friends. I was in solitary cultivation and thus am a bit delayed. Please forgive me, everyone. Yi-Mo smiled as he walked into the hall and saluted with his fists to everyone. Sect Leader Yi's progress is godly. When I first saw Sect Leader Yi, you were just a mortal monarch, but now you're Immortal Emperor middle stage. Along with the sect opening ceremony, there is just more joy to congratulate you on. Wei Feng, Grand Emperor, acted as though there was no enmity at all and got up to saluted with his fists. How could Yi-Mo not know Wei Feng, Grand Emperor's little tricks? So what if there was a secret to his fast cultivation speed? He didn't fear anyone now. In order to protect MOU Immortal Sect, he couldn't hide his cultivation level. When he needed to act dominant, there was no need to act like a turtle. Sect Leader Yi may have known me for a long time, but it's my first time seeing Sect Leader Yi. You're indeed the light of the immortal realm. Luckily, I came back in time this time and could make it to MOU Immortal Sect opening ceremony. Congratulations, Sect Leader Yi. Congratulations, MOU Immortal Sect. Dragon River Immortal Emperor got up and saluted with his fists to Yi-Mo. At this moment, Zheng Run, Nong Yin, Yuan Yun, Jin Hui, Feng Zheng, Qian Zhe, Mu Li, Xian Feng, Kuei Qian, Shen Kuan, Tong Zheng, and so forth Immortal Emperor all got up and congratulated Yi-Mo. Although Xian Feng, Immortal Emperor from Demon Joy Sect, and Chang Rong, Heaven Lord Qian Zhe, Immortal Emperor, had some conflict with Yi-Mo, they still come. Clearly, they knew about Yi-Mo suppressing Feng Kong, Grand Emperor, and teaching him a lesson. In the immortal realm, as long as it wasn't destroying one's Tao foundation or making one unable to reincarnate in the next life, little conflict was nothing in the wake of power. Since these people all came, Yi-Mo thanked them politely. Sect Leader Yi, I didn't expect Kai, me Divine Emperor, became a member of MOU Immortal Sect. MOU Immortal Sect will definitely be the pinnacle Emperor Sect of the immortal realm. Zheng Ren, Immortal Emperor, said. "Ha, Big Monk is here late." A voice sounded, and 3 more Immortal Emperors came into the hall. Yi-Mo rejoiced. He knew that Du Feng Monk was here. Then he saw Chu Chen, Divine Emperor, and Dunyang. "Welcome, Brother Du Feng, Chu Chen, and Dunyang." Yi-Mo quickly went up. "Chu Chen, Divine Emperor, clearly ate emperor with blue fruit and was now immortal emperor peak. Dunyang was immortal emperor middle stage too. Two more immortal emperor peak came and were quite on good relations with Yimo. Everyone exclaimed at Yimo's connections. Some people were wondering who Chu Chen was. As for Du Feng Monk, more people knew him. Brother Chu, Chen, it really is you. Kami just wanted to chat with Yimo, but found Chu Chen Divine Emperor came and quickly greeted. His tone was extremely excited. After all, it was extremely hard to find someone of their age. He didn't expect Chu Chen Divine Emperor would come to congratulate MOU Immortal Sect opening. Chu Chen? Is he one of the 9 Divine Emperors? Chu Chen Divine Emperor? The rest of the people muttered. If it really was Chu Chen Divine Emperor, then today was too shocking. 2 Divine Emperors came to MOU Immortal Sect today. One was from MOU Immortal Sect, and one was to congratulate MOU Immortal Sect. This was unheard of. Ah, it seems Sect Leader you really didn't lie to me. You're really not dead. That's good. Chu Chen Divine Emperor laughed. His face was full of joy. He got the Emperor with blue fruit and returned to Immortal Emperor Peak stage. Dao Vindication was in sight, so he was extremely happy. Now that he saw Kai Mi Divine Emperor, he was even more happy. This was mainly because Kai Mi Divine Emperor, who had been stronger than him, was at a lower cultivation level than him now. Kai Mi was only Immortal Emperor middle stage, and the body he possessed wasn't so good. I already told Sect Leader that you had died. I didn't expect you were alive and here to slap my face. Kai Mi said. Chu Chen Divine Emperor quickly said, let me congratulate Sect Leader first before I catch up with you. Sect Leader Yi, thank you for your fruit. And let me go a level higher. At the same time, thanks for trusting me. Today I came to the sect opening ceremony, also wanting to join MOU Immortal Sect. Would Sect Leader Yi be able to leave a spot for me? Chu Chen Divine Emperor stared nervously at Yimo. In order to thank Yimo, he was already planning to join MOU Immortal Sect. After all, it was the same everywhere for him. But when he came to MOU Immortal Sect, he immediately realized that he would be the one benefiting from joining MOU Immortal Sect, not the other way around. The immortal spirit chi here was so dense that even the top Emperor's sect wouldn't be able to compare with it. Just how many immortal ranges did Sect Leader Yi plan in? He admired Yimo's level 900,000 void defense kill formation. He could clearly tell it was top-level immortal formation. There was no better Dao Vindication place than here. He was Immortal Emperor Peak stage now. He didn't need to keep staying at Qing Wei Abyssal River. Yimo didn't expect an Emperor with blue fruit would give him this much surprise. Chu Chen Divine Emperor, joining MOU Immortal Sect, this was a huge gift. Whether it was the cultivation realm or the immortal realm, rarely would people betray a sect. If one joined a sect, they would take this as a pride. One's fortune was also connected to his sect. This was a law. Even if one changed sects, they wouldn't offend the sect. Before Yimo could wake up from the surprise, Dunyang also said, I also gave my Dunyang hotel to someone else. I also want to join MOU Immortal Sect with Martial Brother Chu Chen. Please take me in Sect Leader Yi. Ha ha ha. Yimo could no longer contain his joy and laughed. It's a huge honor for MOU Immortal Sect to have Chu Chen Divine Emperor and Dunyang. How can I reject? You can choose one of the 8 supplementary peaks each. Du Feng Monk laughed and quickly congratulated. Those immortal emperors here all came to greet Chu Chen Divine Emperor. At the same time, they were extremely shocked. A low heaven domain sect had 2 divine emperors joining. This was absurd. Who would dare to touch MOU Immortal Sect? The sect leader was already an immortal emperor no one dared to mess with. Now there were 2 more divine emperors and a few immortal emperors. Dragon River Immortal Emperor Riverside. Feng Kong Grand Emperor would never be able to match Yimo in his life. Yimo's cultivation level would only get higher and stronger. Wei Feng Grand Emperor regretted saying what he did. If he knew that even Chu Chen Divine Emperor was going to join MOU Immortal Sect, why would he act out? The rest of the immortal emperors of emperor sects rejoiced on their decision to come. Everyone then gave up their gifts, and Lu Feng's hands were tired from collecting gifts. After that, Yemo signaled everyone to sit down. Our MOU Immortal Sect just opened. We don't have many good things to treat everyone. Now, we can only invite each immortal friend to an immortal fruit and immortal wine. Hearing this, everyone looked at each other. The sect leader was so stingy. They came all the way from the Grand Heaven Domain to congratulate the sect, and yet Yemo was so stingy. This meant that they weren't taken seriously. No matter how strong MOU Immortal Sect was, they couldn't just act like this. Before anyone could speak, Yemo waved out jade plates. These jade plates fell before everyone. There was a cup of white wine and a red fruit in each plate. This is Een Blue Plum? Chu Chun Divine Emperor was the first to recognize it. What? Een Blue Plum? Almost all the immortal emperors grabbed the fruit in shock. This was one of the top immortal fruits. One couldn't even get them from auctions. It was beyond level 9 immortal fruit. This thing was priceless. It was very tasty and could cleanse soul and immortal essence. This sect leader Yi was too insane. He used Een Blue Plum to treat guests. Even divine emperors wouldn't be so generous. No wonder he said one for each person. This fruit was much more precious than their gifts. Some immortal emperors didn't even want to eat it like this, but as an immortal emperor, it would be too embarrassing to take it home. In this case, it meant that the wine wasn't ordinary too. A few immortal emperors couldn't wait to drink this wine. Yemo saluted with his fists in that void palace. I opened a restriction, and there were 36 Een Blue Plums. I'll use this opportunity to enjoy it with everyone. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1980. He's actually MOU, Immortal Sect Leader. Chapter 1980. He's actually MOU, Immortal Sect Leader. Yi Mo didn't get the Een Blue Plum from the Void Palace, but this was the best explanation. It was really right of me to come this time. I actually got an Een Blue Plum. My pitiful gift isn't even worth 10% of this. So shameful. Jin Hui, Immortal Emperor, laughed and said. Everyone else laughed. This is so indeed. Our gift isn't as good as this Een Blue Plum we earned this time. Yi Mo raised the wine cup and said, Thank you, friends, for coming to MOU Immortal Sect to celebrate our sect opening. I honor everyone with this wine. Then Yi Mo drank it all. The rest of the immortal emperors all raised their cups, saying all sorts of good wishes, and drank. The wine immediately turned into invisible immortal spirit liquid that expanded in their sea of consciousness. What wine is this? How come my sea of consciousness is clearer? Big Monk has drunk a lot of wine, but never something like this. Du Feng Monk said in surprise. The rest of the people felt how extraordinary this wine was. It was indeed very beneficial to sea of consciousness and spirit sense. There was little immortal spirit herb that could help spirit sense. As for wine, it was even rarer. People didn't need to think to know that the wine in their hand was a treasure no lesser than Een Blue Plum. Now that Du Feng Monk asked, everyone looked at Yemo. Yemo smiled. This is called weed immortal wine. It can indeed clear spirit sense and sea of consciousness. I know. This is immortal wine made with corner soul weed. Dragon River Grand Emperor said in shock. That's right, I got some corner soul weed in the cultivation realm, and I was free, so I made them into wine. Yemo said. Du Feng Monk raised his thumb. This wine has great effect and wine taste. This is the best immortal wine. Chu Chin Divine Emperor nodded. This is indeed a great tasting wine. Of course, Yemo didn't concoct the wine himself. He left it to Small Ginseng. Small Ginseng was better than anyone at wine making and managing Immortal Spirit Herb Garden. 3 days later, the MOU Immortal Sect Protection Formation opened. Countless immortals flocked into MOU Immortal Sect, as today was the opening sect ceremony. All the 11 Heaven Lord of the Low Heaven Domains came. There were more than 10 immortal emperors from the Grand Heaven Domain. There were quite some immortal monarchs and immortal kings. There were countless below immortal king. Comparatively, little people came from Middle Heaven Domain, as Mo's name wasn't famous there. Only some sects with fast news sent someone to congratulate. Before the MOU Immortal Sect Square, countless immortals waited for the sect leader of MOU Immortal Sect to come out. They wanted to see who he was. "Oh my God, I see Wei Feng, Grand Emperor. Am I blind?" One great eternity immortal asked in shock. Immortals nearby immediately heard this and all asked who Wei Feng, Grand Emperor was. It's true, there's not only Wei Feng, Grand Emperor, but also Dragon River Grand Emperor and Zheng Ren Immortal Emperor, Nong Yin Immortal Emperor. This immortal didn't dare to keep naming anymore and just said in shock, "How is this possible? There's more than 10 immortal emperors and they're all famous in the Grand Heaven Domain." It was a great eternity immortal from the Grand Heaven Domain speaking. He admired Mo and came to congratulate. When his words spread out, those hillbillies from Low and Middle Heaven Domain immediately realized just how absurd MOU Immortal Sect was. At the VIP seats, Qin Peifu exclaimed, "MOU Immortal Sect is too amazing. There's this many immortal emperors coming to congratulate. I believe even when an emperor sect forms in the Grand Heaven Domain, they wouldn't be like this." Yang Zai sighed, "I heard that Mo is from MOU Immortal Sect. What relation is he to that sect leader Luo?" "Sai, Dad, I heard that MOU Immortal Sect has a sect leader with surname Yi. He seemed to say that he was sect leader Luo's martial brother." Qin Yimei said. "Oh, what's he called?" Qin Peifu asked. Qin Yimei didn't answer. She just stared dazedly at the main stage with her mouth wide open in disbelief. "Now our MOU Immortal Sect leader Yi will speak." Lu Feng's voice spread, and the square immediately quietened down. Mo walked to the front stage and smiled. "Today is the official opening of my MOU Immortal Sect. I thank all the immortal emperors from the Grand Heaven Domain and the 2 Grand Emperors to have come here. I also thank the 11 Heaven Lords of the Low Heaven Domain, and also thank all the immortal friends who have come all this far to congratulate us. My MOU Immortal Sect originated from Luo, Continent MOU City. Dad, how is this possible? That person is really Mo." Qin Yinmei stared at Mo for a long time. Qin Peifu and Yang Zai stared at Mo in disbelief. They've been to the Grand Heaven Domain once and had seen Wei Feng, Grand Emperor, and Dragon River Grand Emperor. He knew they weren't fake. How could Mo be MOU Immortal Sect leader? Even the Grand Emperors were standing behind him as guests. After a long while, Yang Zai sighed, "Our extreme sword sect has no fortune." Qin Peifu wiped the sweat from his forehead. He knew what Yang Zai meant. Qin Yimei brought Mo to the sect, but she didn't like him. Then Mo seemed to be with Zhen Bingyu, and there were feelings, but Yang Zai took Zhen Bingyu again, and they were severed. "Yimei, you and Mo, sect leader Yi." Qin Peifu was thrown out of his mind. Thinking about this, Qin Yinmei's face was burning red. She remembered about how ignorant she was before. Qin Yinmei calmed down now and thought of the times with Mo. Mo never showed any feelings towards her at all. It was all a deal. Comparatively, Mo and Martial Sister Bingyu appeared in XNK Immortal City together, and their feelings were much better. Looking at Mo with a face of smile standing at the tall stage, Qin Yinmei sighed. Friendship had nothing to do with status. If she didn't carry that condescending attitude towards Mo, perhaps she would be friends with Mo too now. However, when Mo and Martial Sister Bingyu appeared together in XNK Immortal City, she helped Yin Shutao to sneer at Mo to show that she wasn't interested in Mo at all. Qin Yimei breathed easy that Yin Shutao didn't come today. Otherwise, he would be extremely defeated. Not only extreme sword sect people, but Gu Baiwen was also extremely shocked. He was even shaking in the VIP room. He's actually sect leader of MOU Immortal Sect? Gu Yin Goddess's face also changed. Funny how her father tried to take Mo away. Luckily someone stopped them, or the consequence would be unimaginable. No wonder I couldn't see his cultivation level. Gobawan finally realized what was going on. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1981. The News Wuhui Brought. Chapter 1981. The news Wuhui brought. Mo stood on the high stage reading the announcements of MOU Immortal Sect. They weren't willing to talk. No one wanted to offend them. But at this time, a loud voice interrupted the silent square. Wujia Sound River Wuhi Immortal Emperor, Sect Leader Lu Li come to congratulate MOU Immortal Sect opening ceremony and have something to report to Dragon River Grand Emperor, Wei Feng Grand Emperor, and Sect Leader Yi. Mo just finished and was taken over by Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor. He was a bit annoyed. If someone else dared to be like this, there would be people to reproach him, but Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, despite being an Immortal Emperor primary stage, was still an Immortal Emperor. Mo glanced at Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor's face, and said plainly, "Thank you, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor. Please have a seat. The sect opening ceremony isn't over." Wu, Immortal Emperor, who had always been scared of Mo, actually continued speaking. "Sect Leader Yi, this issue today isn't small. I have to tell everyone as quickly as possible." To Mo, there was nothing as important as his sect opening ceremony. Just when he was going to interrupt Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, continued, "My Wujia Sound River martial ancestor Wu was probably killed. Before he died, he sent back an important news. And I found news about Mu Xiaoyan. Sect Leader Yi, please. Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, please come in with me." Hearing Mu Xiaoyan, Mo said excitedly. Xiaoyan disappeared at Wujia Sound River. He asked the people there, and they said Wu Ying took her. Wu Ying was killed by his divine damnation, and so there were things he couldn't ask. Sect Leader Yi, Wu Hui asked that all Immortal Emperor Masters come together. Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, then gave Mo a jade slip. Sect Leader Yi, this is the person who took Mu Xiaoyan and the place she might go. Okay. Mo nodded. He was slightly calmer now, and then thought of Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor. He heard that Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, was a half-divine. In the immortal realm, he was definitely the top amongst the top. How could someone like him die for no reason? Mo put away the jade slip and understood who took Mu Xiaoyan. In the immortal realm, there was an ancient emperor sect called Gemini Emperor Sect. They took in disciples that were twins. They had this twin cultivation method that could allow twins to be invincible amongst their peers. Although one didn't dare to say twin cultivation method had no weaknesses, it had the least weakness. Whether there was weakness in domain or god art, it would be filled up by the other person. The person who took Mu Xiaoyan was from this sect. She was called Luo Biyue. She has a twin sister, Luo Xiuhua. Luo Biyue was secretly taken back to Wujia Sound River by Wu Ying, Immortal Emperor. There was no reason why, but Mo could tell that Luo Biyue had a way to vindicate Dao. Wu Ying, Immortal Emperor, wanted to take this, and thus imprisoned Luo Biyue. After Wu Ying, Immortal Emperor, brought Mu Xiaoyan back, Luo Biyue somehow broke free and fled with Mu Xiaoyan. Mo knew that Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor's jade slip was probably authentic. After all, Wujia Sound River just lost two top Immortal Emperors. The remaining Wu Hiu and Wu Yu Immortal Emperor were much weaker. Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, where is that Gemini Emperor sect? Mo asked. Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, smiled bitterly. Sect Leader Yi, Gemini Emperor sect had disappeared for countless years. It's even more mysterious than the Ice God Palace. I don't know the exact location. I know the Gemini Emperor sect, but that was countless years ago, before the immortal realm broke apart. It's in the palace of the current Yu heaven near the falling snow volcano. Wu Chen, Divine Emperor, added. Mo looked at the other immortal emperors. Only Kai Mi nodded. No one else knew about the location. The Emperor sect was really too ancient. Even someone like Dragon River Grand Emperor didn't know its exact location. Thank you, Chu Chin Chinbei. Everyone please sit. As they spoke, they have come to the guest hall. When everyone sat down, Yemo said to Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, say what important thing you have to say. Thank you, sect leader Yi. Wu Hui quickly got up and saluted with his fists. Then Wu Hui's tone became serious. Our Wujia, Sound River #1 Immortal Emperor Wu Hua, was hunting Jiufan, Immortal Pawns Luan Shao, Immortal Emperor. They've been chasing in the void for 100 years, and they both went into a void palace. From there, they went into another realm. However, Wu Hua ancestor found something extremely terrifying there. He saw two people whose cultivation level he couldn't see through battle. He found that if he faced any of them, he wouldn't last more than 10 seconds. What? Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor's words shocked all the Immortal Emperors here. Only Yemo and Kaimi glanced at each other, seeing the worry in each other's eyes. Clearly that palace was the palace they had been to. That palace was the formation heart of a formation that segregated the chi of a realm. Because Feng Kong Grand Emperor and them forced it open, it crippled the formation base, and the chi was seeping out. Yi Mo repaired the formation base but didn't expect it stopped working this quickly. In the eyes of the other Immortal Emperors, Wu Hua Immortal Emperor was the pinnacle of the immortal realm. Other than Divine Emperor, he almost had no match. If someone could kill him in 10 seconds, wouldn't that person be beyond Divine Emperor? We've been to that place. It's probably that palace after you go through the void, lethal force dimension. I've been in there, but there's nothing there. It's all mist there, and you can't go very far. Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor. What happened afterwards? Dragon River Grand Emperor frowned. He did go with Wuyin and Feng Kong OT that palace. There was mist everywhere, and one couldn't go out at all. They worked together and left after a few decades. It was unimaginable if there was someone that strong in there, but they didn't encounter them. Wu Hua martial ancestor knew that they saw him, so he immediately sent back a crystal ball saying that he would be killed for sure. At the same time, he suspected that he went into the fabled realm that disappeared. But there are still countless masters in that realm. If the people of this realm enter the immortal realm will no longer exist. It will be forged into a truth spirit world. These people definitely have this capability. Then Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, showed a crystal ball and said, "This is the crystal ball Wu Hua, martial ancestor, sent back through the crack." He suspects that this crack would eventually be found. In the crystal ball, two immortals were battling. Everyone here was Immortal Emperor, and they could easily tell how terrifying the battle was. There was no sound of their god art, but the world-destroying Dao runes were obvious. It was as though with one move of a finger, an entire heaven domain would crumble. This power was too terrifying. At this moment, the scene was dead silent. After a long while, Wei Feng Grand Emperor asked Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, "Is there any more news from Wu Hua, Immortal Emperor, after he sent this back?" Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, shook his head. "No. I think the martial ancestor is probably in grave danger." Kaimi sighed and got up. "I'll explain this to everyone, because Chu Chun and I both know what that place is called." "What is it?" the Immortal Emperors asked in unison. "God Necropolis Domain," Kaimi and Chu Chun said at the same time. "If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible." Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1982, Snow Fire Mountain. Chapter 1982, Snow Fire Mountain. Kai, me scan the Immortal Emperors here before saying heavily, "This thing actually has to do with many of the Immortal Emperors here. That formation is broken due to you guys." Seeing everyone look at each other, Kami just told them what he and Yemo saw and heard, as well as what Yemo did. Hearing this, everyone looked at Yemo. Everyone didn't expect that Yemo filled up such a threat for everyone alone. It wasn't completely filled, but it lasted a few decades. Sect Leader Yi, thank you for your contribution to the formation. This isn't personal relations, but whether our immortal realm heritage can be continued. I've heard that the reason the immortal realm was split into the 33 heaven domains was because a master charged into the immortal realm. If I'm not wrong, that person probably came from the god Necropolis domain, right? Dragon River Grand Emperor got up and saluted with his fist to Yimo. Chu Chun Divine Emperor said with a bleak face, "That's right. This person came from god Necropolis domain." His soul was almost disintegrated by that person throwing a heaven domain at him. If it wasn't Truth Divine Emperor who released the immortal Carnage Tower, he wouldn't even be able to sit here. He had this detest towards people from the god Necropolis domain. Dragon River Grand Emperor bowed to Chu Chin Divine Emperor and said, "Everyone, it's no bluff saying that MOU Immortal Sect is the #1 sect in the immortal realm. I'm not trying to bring enmity towards MOU Immortal Sect because it's the fact that they have 2 divine emperors. In the 33 heaven domains, there might be a few sect with more than 6 immortal emperors, but would you say any emperor sect is stronger than MOU Immortal Sect?" Dragon River Grand Emperor glanced around, and almost all the immortal emperors nodded. MOU Immortal Sect was indeed the #1 sect. They might not have a solid foundation. They lacked masters below Immortal Emperor, but the measure of an emperor sect's power is not on Immortal Monarch and Immortal King, but Immortal Emperors. So even if a sect only had an Immortal Emperor primary stage, it wasn't something that countless monarch sects could compare to. Seeing everyone agree, Dragon River Grand Emperor waved his hand again and said, "God Necropolis domain is something everyone knows now. Only one person came, and our immortal realm was split apart with laws missing. If a few or more than 10 came, they would definitely fight over our immortal realm. By then, would there be a palm-sized land of the immortal realm left?" I agree to Dragon River Grand Emperor. If we let people from the god Necropolis domain come into our immortal realm might become the backyard in someone's pocket. Zheng Run Immortal Emperor got up and said. The other immortal emperors all signaled that they agreed. Dragon River Grand Emperor nodded and continued to say, "I wasn't the only one who went to that Void Palace formation heart. Many people have been there. I believe that palace may have been set there by a Qian Bei of the immortal realm. However, we weren't able to recognize the place and instead broke the formation heart. If sect leader Yi didn't remedy the situation, the consequence would be unimaginable." Nong Yin Immortal Emperor immediately said, "Dragon River Grand Emperor, if you have any suggestions, then say it. As long as it can prevent people from the god Necropolis domain from discovering our immortal realm, I will definitely support it to the end." Okay. Dragon River Grand Emperor said, "The urgent thing is that we organize the immortal emperors of the immortal realm to block this formation and repair it. Sect leader Yi can repair this formation, so his formation skills are probably better than ours. Since sect leader Yi is also the #1 sect of the immortal realm, I suggest sect leader Yi take the lead and lead us to repairing this formation. Of course, we also need to gather the top formation Grand Masters in the immortal realm to help sect leader Yi." Dragon River Grand Emperor's words immediately got the approval of everyone. Just when Yimo wanted to talk, Dragon River Grand Emperor said again, "I'll reveal something here. When we left from the Void Formation door, we searched for decades in the mist before we could come back. I got a few ores that are similar to immortal crystals, but it doesn't contain immortal spirit chi, however. It's very beneficial to our cultivation. My power has recently grown due to this, or I feel it's beyond immortal crystals." Then, Dragon River Grand Emperor took out an ore that wasn't very big, but emitted a milky white aura. Seeing this, Wei Feng Grand Emperor took out one too. I got a few too. Kai Mi and Chu Chin Divine Emperor immediately took the ore and studied it for a while. Kai Mi then said, "If I'm not wrong, this is the cultivation crystal of that realm. It seems our guess is right. God Necropolis domain is indeed a higher realm that was destroyed." Kaimi then gave the ore to Yimo. Yimo clutched it and lightly absorbed. He was very joyful. This ore was more beneficial than immortal crystals. He was Immortal Emperor middle stage now. Using immortal crystals and extreme grade immortal ranges to cultivate was very slow. Plus, extreme-grade immortal crystals and extreme-grade immortal range was rare. Just when Yemo was troubled about how to improve his power, he didn't expect to encounter such, or, Sect Leader Yi, how is it? Dragon River Grand Emperor asked. Yemo put the crystal down. It's indeed something beyond immortal crystals. Yemo was thinking about how to get these stones already. He knew that the reason MOU Immortal Sect had its status wasn't because he repaired the formation, but due to his power. Seeing everyone look at him, Yemo thought and said, Kai me, and I have seen that formation heart. We know that it must be repaired and sealed up again, or the immortal realm will be destroyed. I think we should let my MOU Immortal Sect's martial brother Kai me and Dragon River Grand Emperor take people there first. I'll go to Falling Snow Fire Mountain first, and then I'll come. Okay, then we'll go first. Wei Feng Grand Emperor, go invite Feng Kong Grand Emperor and the other formation Grand Masters. At the same time, open the teleportation formation between the low, middle, and Grand Heaven domains. We must stop the catastrophe at all costs. Dragon River Grand Emperor said. Some immortal emperors left, but the sect opening ceremony was still going on. Su Jingwen and Tang Beiwei were unwilling to see Yemo leave when he only came back for 10 years, but they knew he had to leave. Yemo left behind large amounts of cultivation resource. Tang Beiwei and Su Jingwen had decided to put all their time on cultivation to try help Yemo earlier. It was easier for Yemo to leave this time. Not only was his cultivation level at the peak of the immortal realm, but his status was completely different too. The teleportation formations that he couldn't use before could now be used. Yemo headed straight for UU Heaven. Yemo had another purpose here, and that was to find the Purple Robe Man and get the 5th stone stool. He asked Dragon River Grand Emperor and them and knew that this purple-robed man was very powerful, only slightly weaker than Dragon River Grand Emperor. Plus, no one knew this purple-robed man's origin. He had caught Dragon River Grand Emperor and Feng Kong Grand Emperor's attention when he kept selling the stone stool. They had come in contact and knew that he was strong and came from UU Heaven. This was because his first auction was held in UU Heaven. Even Dragon River Grand Emperor didn't know the specifics of this man. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. The Snow Fire Mountain was just as its name describes. Snow falling everywhere onto the volcano, forming a strange scene. The Snow Fire Mountain was just as its name describes. Snow falling everywhere onto the volcano, forming a strange scene. Yemo stood at the outskirts and was a bit disappointed. All the immortal spirit chi nearby had been removed by the ice and fire. There was no sect within hundreds of thousands of km radius. Clearly, this place wasn't suitable for sect survival. Yemo slowly neared the mountain. When he came to the bottom of the mountain, that terrifying flame wave charged into the depth of his meridians. Before his immortal essence completely blocked them, a deep frost chi came striking by. Even at the outskirts of the immortal god body, it was only extreme cold, not extreme cold mixed with terrifying heat. In that instant, the outer layer of clothes on Yemo disappeared. Yemo's body refinement immortal essence moved, and that extreme cold and heat could only stick to the surface of his body and not go inside. So powerful, Yemo exclaimed. In this place of extreme heat and cold, even an immortal emperor wouldn't be able to take it if he was an immortal god body. After running his body refinement cultivation method, Yemo found that this place was very suitable for body refinement. He could even feel his body refinement constantly improving. Yemo used all his immortal essence to refine his body while slowly moving to the top of the mountain. As Yemo gradually went into the mood, his body refinement immortal essence formed a balance with the outside world. It completely barricaded external influence. When those palm-sized snowflakes fell on the volcano, it would slowly melt, but when it fell on Yemo, it couldn't melt and just stacked up. A few days later, Yimo was completely covered in snow. From a distance, he seemed like a moving snow mountain. This was the first time Yimo entered into a statement of enlightenment for body refinement. He felt his body refinement cultivation constantly improve. He reached immortal god body peak stage from immortal god body tertiary stage. After an unknown amount of time, just when Yimo was about to break through immortal god body and reach divine body, his body refinement cultivation suddenly paused. Yimo still hadn't woken up from that feeling. He kept gathering the immortal essence in his body to refine his body. Waves of extreme heat and cold charged at Yimo kept using these chi to charge towards divine body. A few hundred or 1,000 times had passed, but he still couldn't reach divine body. Yimo frowned. He felt that state of enlightenment was disappearing. Just when he decided to try again, he sensed a different chi the next moment. Yimo completely woke up and scanned his spirit sense out. He found he was at the top of the mountain. Where he stood had flames seeping out. The snow had formed a mountain peak on him, but he wasn't the only here. There were many peaks, and when he scanned his spirit sense inside, he found there were bodies inside just like the ice forest of the ice god palace. Clearly, those who were dead were once powerful beings. Yimo's spirit sense fell only 1,000 meters ahead. There was a person laying there. The different chi he sensed was from this person. Yimo knew this person wasn't dead yet, but she wasn't far from death. It was a woman who was immortal emperor tertiary stage. Her clothes had long been melted. Only a thin layer covered her chest and lower abdomen. Every other part of her body was exposed to the flame and snow. She was definitely immortal god body cultivation level. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to live till now. Just when Yimo wanted to shake off the snow on him, he heard this sound. He immediately knew someone else came to the top of the mountain. He didn't shake off his snow and instead stealthed his chi. A few seconds later, a white light landed on the top of the mountain. Yimo could tell this defense flying magic artifact was a half-god artifact. This is a half-god defense artifact. Without it, we wouldn't be able to get here, even though we're immortal spirit body tertiary stage. A immortal emperor tertiary stage man wearing a gray robe said. There was a female immortal behind him, immortal emperor middle stage. She was extremely pretty. How is it, Brother Han? I didn't trick you right. Even though she's immortal god body, she wouldn't be able to open Gemini Emperor's sex, ancient teleportation formation, and leave. The woman sneered at the female immortal laying on the ground. Martial Sister Binglan is smart indeed. Brother Han grabbed the woman's hand. The love in his eyes seemed like it was about to melt the woman. Binglan smiled sweetly. Brother Han, we can't dual cultivate here. After we leave, I'm going to dual cultivate with you, Brother Han said excitedly. Binglan smiled again. Of course, I'm going to see my dear sister Shouju. Brother Han, we only have a mortal spirit body, so we need to be careful. Sister Binglan, don't worry. How can I not be careful? Brother Han laughed and sped up to Binglan. Binglan seemed to have noticed something and suddenly sped up to the woman on the ground. Look, Brother Han. Binglan's tone was desperate. Just when Brother Han went up, he suddenly felt a powerful tearing force surround him. The next moment, Brother Han knew he was ambushed. He immediately released defense magic artifact, but it was too late. Rumble. Binglan's snow-white hand smashed on Brother Han. Brother Han immediately spat blood and flew out. Before Brother Han landed, Binglan released another red band. A white glove appeared on her hand. Binglan, you bitch. We were just sleeping together a few days ago, and now you attack me. Slut. Brother Han was spitting blood while cursing. He released a black shining flame dragon tooth. Binglan sneered in contempt. Lu Huahan, don't disgust me. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. After I trick my martial sister to the mountaintop, I know you're going to kill me next. Plus, why should I let you use my Gemini Emperor's sect teleportation formation? I gave my virginity to you, be grateful. Plus, if I don't ambush you, you're going to ambush me. Lu Huahan, I've long seen through what sort of thing you are. Binglan said, but she didn't attack slow at all. The red band already brought waves of red flowers that surrounded all the space near Lu Huahan. The two were an immortal god body, and despite using half-god artifact to come to the top, it was hard for them to battle here. In just a few moves, the two couldn't handle it anymore. They had to stop in this disastrous environment to use their cultivation method to protect themselves. However, Lu Huahan was ambushed and more heavily injured. His cultivation level was higher than Binglan, but the key thing here was body refinement cultivation level. Yimo shook off the snow on him and slowly walked over. Yimo didn't plan to let these two go, nor let them die. Seeing a nearby snow peak melt and Yimo slowly walk out, the two were completely dazed. Yimo's cultivation level was only Immortal Emperor middle stage, but he casually walked at the peak as though not affected at all. They immediately knew that Yimo was definitely a top-level body refinement immortal. "Who are you?" the two asked at the same time. "It's not important who I am, but you guys spoke about Gemini Emperor sect, right?" Yimo walked towards the naked woman and asked casually. Binglan and Lu Huahan glanced at each other. They were just fighting to the death before, but now they jumped Yimo at the same time. "If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible." Yimo nodded. He was happy with Aishoju's attitude. "Tell me where the Gemini sect is, and which people are in the sect, as well as what your purpose here is." Aishoju immediately said the Gemini sect is long gone. Only some scattered sect members remain outside, trying to find talented twins to inherit the cultivation method. "I'm from the sect, but I've never been to the sect. I only know eyes around here. Other than twin cultivation method, the sect also has body refinement cultivation method. The snow volcano had always been the body refinement cultivation grounds. I came here this time because my martial sister lured me here. She said there's a teleportation formation to the sect at the top of the mountain. I came to look for that teleportation formation." Aishoju looked at Binglan and said, "Sister said that she didn't want to go to the sect as she found someone she liked, so she wanted to be with him. She gave me the teleportation formation jade card. Now I know it's not teleportation jade card, but the formation card to activate the extreme heat and cold." Aishoju sighed. "After activating this jade card, I realized that those with these cards would be surrounded by extreme heat and cold and unable to escape. If no one is around to save you when you're unconscious, you would die. Why do you want to kill your sister?" Yimo looked at Binglan. Binglan quickly said the snow volcano is the place for Gemini sect members to break through to immortal god body. Usually, it's two people breaking through at the same time. My talent isn't as good as Shoju, and she reached immortal god body first. I was planning to use her to reach immortal god body. Then, Yimo didn't need her to explain to know what was going on. Binglan wanted to use Aishoju's body to cleanse the extreme heat and cold, and then use that to refine her own body. That way she would have a chance to reach immortal god body. From this, Yimo knew that Binglan was shameless and had no morality. Yimo said with disgust, "Since this is a cultivation ground, why would Aishoju fall unconscious?" Binglan answered, "Because no one has cultivated here for countless years. The extreme heat and cold, and stacked to an extreme. Even immortal god body tertiary stage might not be able to withstand it, much less immortal god body primary stage." Yimo scanned where Aishoju was laying and found a subtle stealth formation there. The formation was probably where the sect members came for body refinement. The extreme heat and cold was very pure. Yimo walked over to there and ran his body refinement cultivation method. Extremely pure heat and cold filled Yimo's body and constantly refined his body. This place was much better for body refinement than other places. There were all sorts of impure chi at other places, and even with the 3-birth chant, Yimo would have to remove it first. But here, one could just devour that chi for body refinement straight away. Soon, Yimo left here. It was indeed suitable for body refinement, but he had reached the peak of immortal god body. There was no point in cultivating here. Seeing Yimo go into the formation and come out so casually, there was more shock in Binglin's eyes. Yimo was the strongest body refinement cultivator she had seen. His power was also out of this world. She had actually never heard of such person. So that teleportation formation is fake? You don't know where the sect is? Yimo's tone became harsh. Binglan said in horror, Qian Bei, please have mercy. Yimo sneered, if you tell me things that satisfy me, I won't kill you. If you keep bullshitting, you won't need to keep talking. Binglan rejoiced and quickly said, Qian Bei, the teleportation formation is real. When my master taught us, she didn't take us to the sect, so we don't know where it is too. Where does the teleportation formation lead to? Where is the teleportation formation? Who is your master? Yimo asked. Binglan didn't dare to hide anything at all. It said to teleport to where the sect used to be. As for the location, I only know it's near the snow volcano. My master is called Luo Biue. Hearing this name, Yimo was overjoyed. Yimo's tone calmed down due to his mood. Where is your master, Luo Biue? Seeing Yimo's tone go calm on mention of her master's name, Binglan wondered if Yimo was related to her master, but she realized she didn't know where her master was either. Seeing Yimo's face grow worse, Binglan quickly said, Qian Bei, my master never came back to us after leaving us. I think she might have left through the teleportation formation. Disappointment surged in Yimo's heart. He then asked, where is the approximate location of the Gemini Emperor's sect? 30,000 kilometers to 300,000 kilometers west of the volcano. Binglan said. Last question, where are there so many snow peaks at the top, and why are there bodies underneath it? Yimo asked. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1985, Fill Broken Realm, Repair Immortal Realm. Chapter 1985, Fill Broken Realm, Repair Immortal Realm. Wanbei don't know this, but I know what happened at the sect. There was a huge battle at the top of the snow volcano. Wanbei don't know if the snow peaks were left from then. Binglan quickly said. Before she finished, Yimo already disappeared in a dashing light. Shioju looked dazedly at Yimo's figure. Ever since she came out, she had never seen someone as terrifying as Yimo. At the same time Yimo left, Binglan's red band swept at Lu Huahan. Lu Huahan didn't dare to do anything in front of Yimo, but facing Binglan, he didn't fear at all. While Binglan ambushed him, he ambushed her at the same time. They both thought the same thing. Sister, hurry up and help me. This person tricked me to ambush you. Binglan looked at Shioju asking for help. Shioju suddenly released a blue ray. Her cultivation level was the highest, and her injuries had recovered. She was a mortal god body, so she wasn't affected by the mountain. The instant Shioju released the blue ray, it locked on a Lu Huahan and sliced past his body, bringing out bloody mist. From now on, we are no longer sisters, Shioju said, and then disappeared in a dashing light too. Yimo had left the snow volcano. His spirit sense expanded quickly. He was desperate. After all, he had to go to that void palace soon, and he didn't know what dangers were there or when he could come back. So he had to find Xiaoyan quickly and send her back to MOU Immortal Sect. Otherwise, his heart can't go to rest. The void palace was once again filled with people, and everyone here were famous in the immortal realm. Even the few immortal monarchs here were peak formation grandmaster. Ordinary people didn't have the right to be here. Dragon River Grand Emperor. What's going on? The formation here seemed to have been repaired. A formation grandmaster studied the space formation door and asked. Then he shook his head. With my formation skills, I definitely can't repair this place. I can't even see 10 to 20% of it. The other immortal emperors in Dragon River looked at Kai Mi. Dragon Drive Grand Emperor asked, Kai Mi Qian Bei, is the formation here repaired by sect leader Yi? If it is, then we can't help at all. Everyone here are top formation grandmasters, but none of them can understand this formation. Kaimi looked at it carefully. No, I'm certain that after sect leader Yi and I left, someone else came here to repair the formation. When sect leader Yi repaired the formation, I was there. Sect leader Ye's repair definitely wasn't as perfect as this. There was still cheese spilling. But now, this formation isn't spilling anything at all. It's 100 times better than sect leader Ye's repair. The immortal emperors and formation grand masters glanced at each other. What Kaimi meant was that after Wuhua, immortal emperor, came in here, another powerful being repaired the barrier formation completely. When sect leader Yi repaired this formation, he used a few years. If that powerful being really repaired the formation after Wuhua, immortal emperor, went in, then that powerful being is too scary. It's less than a few months. Kaimi stared at the formation door and said in shock. Nong Yin, immortal emperor, said, if I'm not wrong, when we broke the formation, it started the powerful being that first set the formation. That Qian Bei came back to repair it. So that means we don't need to repair this formation? Another formation grandmaster asked. Kaimi nodded. If this formation is really repaired by that Qian Bei, then we don't need to repair it indeed. This formation is so profound, and I'm guessing it's not something of the immortal realm. We have the best immortal formation grandmasters in the immortal realm gathered here, but only sect leader Yi can know a little about this. Even sect leader Yi can only repair it a little. He couldn't completely reset it like this. Since this Qian Bei repaired this formation, I think we should send people to guard here to prevent similar things from happening again. I agree to Kaimi Qian Bei. Wei Feng Grand Emperor immediately said. Since Wei Feng Grand Emperor said this, other people agreed. There's a stone tablet here. Another immortal emperor looked at the formation door and said. Next to the door, a huge stone tablet was slowly revealing itself. Soon, it became clear and everyone could see the words on it. This formation seals the chi of the immortal realm, but it's not a long-term solution. Eventually, the people from the broken realm would come into the immortal realm from here. How can the immortal realm be safe? Those with great will can enter the broken realm and vindicate primordial essence Tao and protect the two realms. Those with great wisdom can enter the broken realm from here and perfect the laws, fill broken realm, and repair immortal realm. To prevent insidious people coming back to spirit control immortal realm after achieving Tao essence. Those who enter from here can't come back. Those who aren't immortal emperors can't enter too. After repairing this formation, I've lost all my power. If this formation breaks again, there's nothing I can do. After reading this, everyone looked at the Grand Emperors in confusion. What does this mean? What's vindicate primordial essence Tao? Can the immortal realm be repaired? Yuan Yun, immortal emperor, asked the question everyone wanted to know. Kaimi got up and saluted with his fists. Since the formation is repaired, I'll explain things here. I completely understand this stone tablet. Everyone held their breath and listened. In the ancient times, there was a realm above the immortal realm. It's just like how cultivation realm ascended to immortal realm. But for some reason, the realm was disturbied, but not all the people there died. Those who could survive in that realm are powerful beings. Kaimi Qian Bei, you're saying that Tao Vindication Divine Emperor isn't the highest state? Zheng Run, immortal emperor, asked in shock. Kaimi nodded. That's right. Tao Vindication Divine Emperor is only the first step to seeking Tao. The first step of Tao Vindication Divine Emperor is Tao Molding Divine Emperor, Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor, and Tao Actualization Divine Emperor. Only once you reach Tao Actualization Divine Emperor can you barely be considered a Divine Emperor. What? Those who haven't heard about this took in a cold breath. Even Feng Kong Grand Emperor and Dragon River Grand Emperor were speechless. They had always thought that if they vindicated Tao, they would be the pinnacle of the immortal realm. However, Tao Vindication was only the first step. Kaimi said seriously at that time, we only knew after battling with someone from the god Necropolis domain. The immortal realm had 9 divine emperors, but only Truth Divine Emperor reached Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor. That's why the immortal realm was beaten into 33 heaven domains by that powerful being. If that powerful being wasn't seriously injured and Truth Divine Emperor had a mortal carnage tower, the immortal realm would have been someone's truth spirit world already. Kami Chinbei, may I ask what the second step and third step to Tao seeking is? Dragon River and Feng Kong Grand Emperor had completely set aside their attitude as Grand Emperor and bowed to Kami asking. The other immortal emperors also listened intently. Kami Divine Emperor continued, after the first step Tao Actualization Divine Emperor, it will be Tao Vindication second step Tao Essence Divine Emperor. I know that after Tao Essence it will be third step Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. Only once you become a Primordial Essence Divine Emperor can you be truly called Divine Emperor. Everyone fell silent. They had thought that Immortal Emperor was at the pinnacle of the immortal realm, but now they realized that Immortal Emperor was nothing. No wonder the two beings in Wu Hui's crystal ball were that powerful. They're all beyond Tao molding Divine Emperor. If these people came to the immortal realm, how can the immortal realm be safe? Zheng Ren Immortal Emperor said in shock. So that's what Vindicate Primordial Essence Tao meant. This isn't easy at all. Another Immortal Emperor said with dejection. I'm going in this space formation door to seek higher level fortunes. Otherwise, if I stay here, I'm just waiting to die of old age. Jin Hui Immortal Emperor said. Those who reached Immortal Emperor had very firm minds. The Immortal Emperor whose side was rare. Many other Immortal Emperors conformed to what Jin Hui Immortal Emperor said. Dragon River Grand Emperor stood out and said, everyone, we've always been chasing that slim chance of reaching higher levels of Tao. Now that we know there's chance to higher level, I believe no one wants to give up this opportunity. At the same time, the immortal realm is our root. If the immortal realm is destroyed, we would have no root. I hope that after we enter the new realm, we can let other people have a chance to come in too. Dragon River Grand Emperor, just say it. Only now do I realize I'm the frog at the bottom of a well. After I enter the new realm, I will support to the end no matter what request Grand Emperor has. Feng Zheng, Immortal Emperor said. Dragon River got straight to the point. I hope we set a top-level formation here and a teleportation formation. Those who reach Immortal Emperor and want to enter the broken realm to cultivate can go through here. Another thing is to send someone here to guard it. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Outside the snow volcano, Yimo had searched for 4 days. He almost searched within a 500,000 kilometers range west of the snow volcano carefully, but still didn't find any signs of the Gemini sect. He didn't even see a stealth formation. Outside the snow volcano, Yimo had searched for 4 days. He almost searched within a 500,000 kilometers range west of the snow volcano carefully, but still didn't find any signs of the Gemini sect. He didn't even see a stealth formation. This region was barren and little immortal spirit chi. It was just a frozen land. When the 5th day was about to pass, Yimo became more disappointed. He was certain the Gemini sect's location wasn't here. It seemed a bit hard to find the sect, and then find Luo Biyue, and then find Mu Xiaoyan. Yimo's spirit sense extended further, and a familiar dashing light crossed the border of his spirit sense. Yimo immediately caught that dashing light. It was Xianlan Merchant Association's Zhong Kong, Immortal Emperor. He didn't expect to see this guy again today. Originally, Yimo didn't want to care about it, but when another dashing light passed the border of his spirit sense, Yimo's killing intent rose immediately. The dashing light, who was hunting Zhong Kong, Immortal Emperor, was someone Yimo AHD never seen before, but might recognize this person immediately. He looked like a block of wood and his face was tree skin. Who else would it be other than that Yuan Muxian, who captured Tang Beiwei? It was too normal that Yuan Muxian was hunting Zhong Kong, Immortal Emperor. Zhong Kong, Immortal Emperor, spilled the news of Yuan Muxian capturing Tang Beiwei to him. Zhong Kong, Immortal Emperor, knew that he was going to be hunted when he said it. Now it really seemed so. Yimo immediately hunted over, but found Zhong Kong, immortal emperor, turn into the direction of the snow volcano. Clearly, Zhong Kong, immortal emperor, wanted to go in there and use the environment to fight for his life. Yuan Mushin's speed was clearly faster than Zhong Kong, immortal emperor. If it wasn't that Zhong Kong, immortal emperor's flying magic artifact was better than Yuan Mushin's, Zhong Kong, immortal emperor, would have been caught by Yuan Mushin already. Yimo stopped. Zhong Kong brushed past Yimo, but Yimo didn't care. He was going to stop Yuan Mushin. When Zhong Kong, immortal emperor, brushed past Yimo, he immediately saw Yimo and turned back in surprise and joy. Sect leader Yi. Zhong Kong, immortal emperor, quickly bowed to Yimo. The person hunting you is Yuan Mushin. Yimo stared at the nearing dashing light and asked coldly. Zhong Kong, immortal emperor, breathed and answered, yes, that's Yuan Mushin. I came to hide at Yu Heaven, but that bastard is still hunting me. Please help me, sect leader Yi. Yimo nodded. I'm going to kill this block of wood without a doubt. Feeling Yimo's dense killing intent, Zhong Kong, immortal emperor, subconsciously shivered and didn't answer. He was hiding from Yuan Mushin everywhere, that he didn't even know Yimo's battle with Feng Kong Grand Emperor, nor the MOU Immortal Sect opening ceremony. When Yimo finished the sentence, Yuan Mushin appeared before Yimo and glanced at Yimo and said, Zhong Kong, immortal emperor, in contempt, you found an immortal emperor middle stage to escape from me. Keep dreaming, I'll let you know what fear is. Little bastard, if you don't want to die, then piss off. Don't wait till your ancestor Mu to annihilate you. Yuan Mushin waved his hand, and a bell appeared in his hand. It made a casual ring, and Yimo felt his heart seemed to have been burnt by fire. What made it more unbearable was that this person's voice was like rats biting rotten wood. It was disgusting. Yimo nodded. This should be Yuan Mushin's famous magic artifact, Lu Ming Guang Yen Bell. No wonder Zhong Kong, immortal emperor, felt so threatened by Yuan Mushin. Yuan Mushin hid his power, but Yimo could tell Yuan Mushin was immortal emperor tertiary stage. You're Yuan Mushin? Yimo waved his hand, and Zisu appeared in his hand while his killing intent spurred. Who are you? Yuan Mushin frowned and asked when he felt Yimo's powerful killing intent and dominant domain. MOU Immortal Sect Yimo, I've wanted to kill you for a long time. Zisu flashed and God Art Crevice was released. This Crevice God Art was different to before. It fused the killing intent of the Qing Wei Abyssal River. So you're Yimo. I was planning to go to MOU Immortal Sect to kill you, but now that I see you today, it saves me the trouble of going there. Yuan Mushin said and released the bell. A soul-shocking sound came from the bell that mixed with the flame which then fused with his domain. This flame domain was actually burning Yimo's domain. Yimo waved Shadowless out and said, Shadowless, prevent this old rotten wood from running away. If necessary, eat him. As Yimo's power increased, he didn't need Shadowless many of the times. Shadowless was very bored, and now that Yimo let him out to eat, how could he give up such opportunity? Don't worry, boss. Although the wood might not taste good, I'll still eat it. Yuan Mushin was furious. The bell burst out, and rings of invisible flames ravaged the nearby space. Small cracks appeared in the space. Zhong Kong, immortal emperor, looked at this shock. Such magic artifact that could burn space meant a few of him wouldn't be a match for Yuan Mushin. Zisu's God Art Sword Ray had sliced through tens of kms of space. That lethal force made Zhong Kong, immortal emperor, quickly retreat. Zhong Kong, immortal emperor, was quite dejected. Whether it was Yuan Mushin or Yimo, they weren't someone he could take on. Clank! Sword Ray clashed with Yuan Mushin's immortal emperor domain, creating this metal clashing sound. Yuan Mushin's domain was immediately open to crack. Before this crack could grow in size, the bell made a desperate ring, and that crack was filled. The flame in the domain intensified. The bell sound almost materialized and invaded the surrounding 10,000 kilometers of space. Zhong Kong, immortal emperor, was affected by this and spat blood again, while retreating even more. Even Yemo was affected by this bell sound a little, and his crevice god Art paused for a moment. His killing intent paused too. Shadowless was furious and bit down. The terrifying domain of Yuan Muxian was immediately bitten off a piece. The broken domain could no longer stop Yi Mo Zisu. Zisu expanded and sliced across the entire space. Yuan Muxian felt his soul and essence spirit was taken away by this strike. The extreme, intense lethal force gradually bound him, and he slowly lost his battle while inside the killing intent. Not good. Yuan Muxian's battle experience was ample. He immediately knew he was no match for Yi Mo, much less Yi Mo had an immortal spirit beast that could devour domain to help him. Yuan Muxian could care anymore and threw out a few hand signs. The bell expanded, and in just a second, the bell spewed out countless flame beasts. They also had this soul-devouring sound as they charged at Yi Mo. Yi Mo was furious. He just needed to change his crevice god art a bit, and could completely suppress the bell. However, Yuan Muxian kept playing fire in front of him. Yi Mo didn't use Zisu anymore and instead put it away. He punched out. Flame Fist God Art. 5-stack wave kill. Rumble. A 30 kilometers tall blue fire wall erupted and the surrounding snow was instantly melted. The wall stopped all the flame beasts. Inside the wall, there was sounds of wails. Zhong Kong, Immortal Emperor from a distance, called out in shock, "Immortal flame blue like morning sky god art." He was completely numb. The reason he succumbed to Yi Mo was because he knew he was no match, but now he realized he underestimated Yi Mo, Immortal flame god art. Yuan Muxian knew fire, and this terrifying flame was definitely immortal flame. He knew blue like morning sky. More than half the beasts were burned to death. Before Yuan Muxian could gasp, the second flame wall was here. There was 2 walls. Yuan Muxian's heart sunk. He had decided to flee as far as he could after escaping from this god art. Before he finished the thought, the 3rd and 4th wall came. Despair flashed across Yuan Muxian's eyes. What guy was this? He could use 4 firewalls. If he knew Yi Mo was this powerful, he would have fled already. His bell flames were nothing compared to Yi Mo's flame god art. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.